Good evening, or if somehow you're European or in Australia, good morning, because some people can do that. Welcome to SOS number 209. And yes, there is a reason why this is said, because, yeah, why not? We are here with Sabrina for this first block. How are you, Sabrina, tonight?
I am tired, Jorjan. I am just stressed out about, prepping for finals. But you know what? One of the best parts about being commentator is you get to take a break from whatever you're doing IRL and just watch some exciting games happening right now tonight in SOS.
Like some interesting games tonight. I've been seeing Lantern Bracket 80% with Bebop, Damn Waffle, Lord Esper, and Valley versus Bad Guys, Go Child, Cat, Toad Jr., Tomato 74, Torch Lab, and Lab actually, not Torch Lab. Imagine that was a name together. But the main thing is we're going to be seeing Splat Zones on Make Mark first. This is going to be group stage of Nessie Post. It's going to be A1.2, so this is going to be the closest seed 28 from 29. If you recognize some of the names from Lighter Bracket 90%, that is going to be some people from the OG team of Temple IHOP. And yes, I will still be mentioning that name forever not, because they are a pretty good team. But Sabrina, why not we go into the game?
Yeah, Splat Zone's Mako Mart here, folks. And looking at the team comms, I see quite some interesting stuff happening on the side of Bad Guys. But I also do see something new as well coming from Lantern Bracket 80%.
That new thing would be actually the special from Damp. It's going to be the paint brush being played off, but at the same time too, we're going to be seeing the regular brush coming in as well. So actually, I kind of mixed it up a little bit. We're going to be seeing Lantern Bracket 80%, seeing the blue dapples and the brush and the decaf and the pencil. So yeah, the main thing is though Damp is still playing the brush, and if you saw the tag, they are from Momentum Away. But for Bad Guys, we are going to be seeing the paint brush, one of the unrecognizable kind of brush unless you're really technical and skilled into it, which does make sense for the side of Tomato 74. I think you are going to be getting 2 kills on stream itself already.
Yeah, what a great start for Bad Guys. Able to get some pretty good picks on pretty good crucial picks on the side of Lantern Bracket. Again, going for a double, make that a triple. We do see the hammer coming out from Lantern Bracket, but unfortunately, though, that does result in a wipeout on their end. And Bad Guys are so far doing a really good job not making anyone get into the zone. But as I say that, the Dapples are going in, trying to fight for their life while also painting the zone. And sure enough, it worked out in their favor. What a crazy clutch coming in from Lantern Bracket.
It's a good quick clutch because as well, if you saw as well on the screen that for the Blue Dapples, they were alone. Everyone from Bad Guys was either died or actually went super into the base of Lantern Bracket 80% because they were so hyper-focused on just locking them out that they were able to come in, and now just everything reset. We see Bad Guys actually get the zone once again, but we're going to be seeing Damp be coming down, Brill being able to jump back as well. So with 15 points remaining regularly and some penalty points taken down for the side of Bad Guys, we are going to be seeing now just 3 minutes left on the clock, and possibly Bad Guys being able to come back from this.
Yeah, we're seeing the specials being used by Lantern Bracket, and now things in the zone are remaining neutral. But unfortunately, though, all of the 3 of the members from Lantern Bracket do go down as they were trying to retake the zone. Bad Guys are able to take them all out, and now the penalty is already up. All they got to do is just really not make sure to not let any of the members of Lantern Bracket go and retake the zone. And sure enough, they did exactly just that, holding in with all their might and able to secure game 1 of this first round.
The Dapple and the Butch was so close to getting it back at the 50% mark, but actually made it back to neutral because they hit it 50%, but the 75% margin to get the zone capped on their side was not able to be done because all of Bad Guys was still at the zone itself. And also the main thing to know as well, as everyone knows, the zone is a plus sign. It's not a square like Barnacle and Dime, so it takes a little bit more time to have some ink fall off. So in that scenario, Bad Guys was able to clutch up, being able to paint all the corners and able to succeed in surviving. But because it's a SOS, it's always going to be zone favored. Now we're going to be going to an actual mode. Even though Splatoon is actual mode, it's still just basically turf war if you think about it. We are going to be going to a more mechanical mode based off teammates and team synergy, like tower control.
I'm sorry. I got a little distracted by what you said about, Makomar Jones being a plus sign and not a square map. It honestly reminded me of the time when, Prochara and his team Last Resort were playing in Mako zones, and Chara was just saying paint square. That's all I can think about right now that you brought it up. But anyways, we're getting a bit sidetracked there, folks. But anyways, like you said, Jordan, you literally took the words right out of my mouth. Tower control is definitely one of the most team coordinated plays. Is one of those modes where team coordination really needs to be used a lot. And with Hagglefish, team coordination is definitely a huge requirement, especially since you got to really push through the second checkpoint, break through the second checkpoint, since that particular checkpoint is really hard to break. But anyways, folks, we are getting game number 2 started here. What do we see here regarding comms, Jordan?
We are going to be seeing more or less kind of the same thing, but we're going to be seeing Tomato having a victim, a villain on the side of Lantern back at 80% because Damp is going to be trying to battle them off with the Paintbrush the third Paintbrush version, which I forgot the name of because I don't really know I don't know fans as much. But the main thing is though, the regular Paintbrush is still strong, and with the Waypick it's going to be more chaotic because if they put it on the middle, it's still going to go to the side, so Death can be even exposed out. But we can even see from backers as well. They do have a Viper now this time, and for Lantern back at 80%, they have they still have the slasher weapon. I forgot the name real quick. Save me, Savannah. What is the name of that weapon?
Honestly, I forgot too because it's been quite a while since I last remember the names of all of the third kits. But regardless, though, bad guys are starting off very strong as they are able to as they were able to push their tower just a little bit. We see the hammer being thrown at Torch. What an incredible play from them. Torch is an absolute menace with the Viper, from what I could tell. I remember scrimming against the bad guys a couple of times in the past, and Torch is no joke with the Viper. They are absolutely just shredding.
Wait, you scrimmed against bad guys before? This is just wow, that's shock and noise right here, as you can know how strong they are. If you don't have the knowledge of them before, since they are in this kind of condition right now, and since you know them a bit, did you ever play in this mode with them? And how much were they able to do if they are getting struggled in the lockout? But right now, you can obviously they're not being struggled in the lockout. But what will happen if they do? If you do?
Honestly, I don't know because this team bad guys in particular are just very unpredictable with their plays and everything. Sometimes they get themselves put in a scary situation and somehow overcome that fear. They always try to figure out a way to escape it and just try to make the best out of it, and they always know what to do here. And as you can see, they always are very wary of the flanks and the unexpected surprise happening from any team, especially with what Lantern Bracket was trying to pull off. And speaking of which here, things are now returning back to neutral, just players going left and right here. We see a couple of members retreating, of Lantern Bracket retreating, and bad guys once again are trying to start the push going. But we now see Lantern Bracket trying to push up a little bit, but again, 3 members go down, and now this is the perfect opportunity for bad guys to immediately go in. Tomato out here getting a pick and using the wave breaker, unfortunately does go taken down. And now things are just returning back to neutral as Lantern Bracket are trying to reset themselves.
even on screen during that time, we saw them get a solid double wood blow up right there. And since we saw information of bad guys recently from YouTuber, now I can say the information from Lantern Black 80%, it came a bunch more way. We saw them wanting to go in control with Damp and Up, especially on screen with Rally coming in from the side, mostly going in with the Tetra, trying to be the chaotic rat or the mess that you want to, because that's how you play Tetra. You want to be the distraction for everyone else to come in. But if you are having more self-control, like what we say from bad guys being able to check the ledges and just be able to counter with 1v1s, that's what's Lantern Bracket's disadvantages right now. Because if you plan to do some predictable plays like Rob just did with Tomato 74 and Tomato actually able to side it out, that would be the good call for bad guys to take advantage of. Which for Lantern Bracket 80% right now, they need to find a way to counter it with 1 minute remaining. But since they're all self back inside the base, they need to find a way to get out of there. They can't play any support role. They need to play aggressive, like bad guys were playing.
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm thinking of. Lantern Bracket just needs to have more aggression going in. I think they're definitely trying to play for more control rather than like playing for aggression, which I definitely understand why, is because, you know, they want to paint up for specials. They want to get as many resources they can in order to get a good push going. But I don't think it's not enough though. Like, you really just got to play for aggression here. Like, as you can see, and as I say that, I think Lantern Bracket might have read my mind, as they are finally now able to are able to now take control of the tower. And we see them trying to, you know, go into the base of bad guys. But unfortunately, though, with all of that, it wasn't enough. And bad guys were again able to win the second round the second game of this round.
The second game of round 1 of Swiss and SOS 209.
Thank you.
It's a mouthful. Yeah, don't worry about it. The main thing is though, for bad guys, yeah, like you said, they were able to play super aggressive, and that's really what threw off Lantern Bracket 80%. Even though they did get some aggression at the end, that was every so often actually in the match itself. Even in Splatoon Maker, it was the same thing. But the main thing in general we saw from bad guys is they were able to lock out super hard and play super aggro. Every single time that Lantern Bracket 80% was able to come in was when they would trickle down one by one and solo 1v1s. Like Tomato and Damp, they were in 1v1s together. But the issue was, in the end, we saw Esper on the pencil, on the tower alone, battling against a sword on bad guys, which you can obviously know it's a bad situation, because you need to tap super fast on the pencil to get the kill. You need to get a double tap on that, but with the sword being able to do 1 slash kill, and with it being overtime, unfortunately, it goes inside the bad guys, and we do not see Monocle and Dime zones, the square map, in this rotation.
Paid square. That's literally all I'm thinking still right now, but yeah. Anyways, coming back to what we were saying earlier, bad guys definitely had a lot of aggression going on. Like, I think because they are using like weapons that are a bit uncommon in today's meta right now, like for example the paintbrush, they definitely figured out what to do in order to have a better advantage with those weapons. You know, you got to really just give them the unexpected, and that's why I like and that's why I really like fighting the bad guys quite a lot, is because, you know, not only they're like a very strong team, they're super unpredictable with the plays that they always like to do. So I think what Lantern Bracket needs to do is really have to keep up with that aggression. Like, they also have to be aggressive themselves. But regardless of that, though, like, they had some pretty good moments like during those fights. Like, for example, the resources being thrown at them. Like, obviously, like, the resources being thrown at them might be a bit. I know, like, painting up for resources does take some time, but it definitely helps out, as they were able to get like some pretty insane kills, like with the Zuka, the Reef Slider saving the Zuka, getting the picks, the Reef Slider getting the zone, the Hammer just getting picks as well. Like that's still really great play, but unfortunately though, it still isn't enough. And hopefully they are able to learn several things during that scrim. But with all that being said, here, folks,
the scrim. You said during the scrim.
during the Swiss round. Sorry.
And honestly, no, Sabrina, I'm being so real. Honestly, a hot take. Landed back at any percent. The reason why they are named that, I think they noticed what the seed is, and they noticed because they know what seed they're in. So they have the seed against seed 29, which was that match, which unfortunately did not go to the side, and now they have to fight seed 1. So, and they're in a group of 3. So in that scenario, that is going to be technically a Lantern bracket any percent. But at the same time too, now because they're in a group of 3, they're going to go to make a bracket. So the name is immediately a lie. But the main thing is though, for Momentum Away, aka Lantern bracket 80%, they're just in for fun. They're just in to just play for practice, honestly. So it's literally for weekly like this. Like you can either play to get the badge, like most people will do, but at the same time too, you can play for practice. Or just play fun, just like how these 2 teams are going to be coming in with Candy Blaze and Kill Switch. Not Kill Shriek, or Krill something else, or something Switch, because there's like 3 of those teams' names all together with recognizable names all together as well too.
Yeah, I am very well familiar with Krill Switch. I remember subbing in for them multiple times in the past during the beginning of the year, and I'm very excited to see what kind of crazy gameplay they will have in store for us. But anyways, folks, we are heading straight to round number 2 of Swiss bracket. Candy Blaze versus Krill Switch. What do we see here, Jordan?
We are going to be seeing Kill Switch. Well, funny enough, the main thing we're going to be seeing is an arrow spray, and we're going to be seeing
not surprised.
Regular flow. Well, for Meat Boy 13, actually, if any of you know about the NSC, we do see Kill Switch with that arrow spray. That arrow spray is going to be the main demon in Splash. So definitely on this mode as well, because this is actually what helped one of the NSC teams win one of these Mahi games like this, because of Meat Boy right here with the average spam of the Reef Slider. But the main thing is though, again, for Kill Switch, with Red Eye actually holding on to that pole, that's not going to be the force pole. This is going to be the one with the missiles. That's going to be helping as well just to push the enemies back.
Yeah, and right now we see the Kraken activated on the side of Candy Blaze right now. They are using it to shred the crab, and they didn't use it and wasn't able to shred it enough, and just went ahead and switched back. And sure enough, though, Candy Blaze was able to retake the zone, and now they have pretty much control of the map. So all I'm sensing is that they probably are going to be painting up for their resources just to keep stalling out a little bit long in order to get that lead swap. We see them being thrown out right now, but the Reef Slider coming in from Meat Boy went out, but unfortunately it didn't take control of the zone. But Meat Boy went ahead and survived and tried to go for some picks with both the Fizzy and the Aerospray itself. Unfortunately, though, they get taken out in the process. We saw the Booyah coming out earlier. They unfortunately get taken out in the process as well. But still, though, regardless, Krill Switches was able to get a lead swap, and what an insane Fizzy double coming from Meat Boy.
Well, I can say in earlier spaces, that might be. I thought that I had the pro with the whistles, but that's actually going to be the one on Candy Blaze that had the missing one, because with Red Eye, they have the pro with the crab, which actually they have been pushing for a couple months now, if you saw them online. But it's really good to see that they are going to be playing it off well if they have control on the map, like right now, because they're going to be set up in the far right corner. A really good position for anyone who's trying to go for the drop. With the Kraken front ammo, it's going to be a little bit of situation right there, but because the painted for Grocery is not here, aka the Aerospray, and S-Plus being far behind as well, and the Aerospray need to get eliminated, but Red Eye's still holding on really strong right now, and Candy Blade's having 2 down as well, but the missile's still out as well too. This is going to be a really hectic play right now, but Red Eye getting a triple to getting a quad on stream. Maybe a fatal if Emma's going to be falling victim, but right now they're playing it safe, but that zone cap is going to be staying them alive.
I absolutely love Red Eye's movement that they played. One of the things that you got to do with the Splattershot Pro is just have a lot of movement when fighting your targets. Like you got to really, it's definitely. It may seem like pointless, but if you think about it, just moving around can really help you reposition your aim, or readjusting your aim, I should say. And sure enough, that's what Red Eye did, just readjusting the aim and just having a lot of movement. But we're getting a bit off topic, off topic, as we see here. Candy Blaze were able to come in clutch and able to retake the zone. Now all they got to do is just try to figure out a way to have a really good position in order to stall out as much time as they can in order to get that lead swap. And as I could see, the penalty seems to be up for them.
Yeah, but honestly, if you want to talk about like aim adjustments, honestly, in general, like the aim adjustments is going to be helpful for a lot of people. But okay, never mind. Who cares about aim adjustment when you have a weed slaughter coming into play? But if you had a Ninja Squid, if you had a Squid Search on that would have been a good aim adjustment to get out of there. Actually, which two of the teams from Canada tried to do. Even to see them two win the 52 go, try to battle against Meat Boy and lose because of the aim adjustment, because you have to aim down. While for Meat Boy, they just have to spray in the general direction because of the DPS from the aerospace. But as we're going to be seeing right now, with 40 seconds remaining, the paint in the square is going to be going to the Candy Blaze side with 3 down a Krill switch. That's going to be the points and the lead, staying at 6 points left for Krill switch, while Candy Blaze trying to fight that penalty down.
Yeah, and this is what I mentioned before. Like just having needing to have a good position will definitely benefit a lot, especially for Candy Blaze, because, well, as you can tell, that can happen.
Yep, aerospace moment, basically, in a TLDR. Just like the last 5 seconds or last 30 seconds in Turf War, it's basically going to be the last few seconds in Splash Zones. If Candy Blaze getting the zone last second, but not in this exact frame for overtime to push out, and we're going to be seeing Krill switch getting the first point in the set.
Yeah, honestly, that was such incredible plays coming from Krill switch. Like they all had almost all of the members had a moment to like really just go in and able to get some crucial picks. Like from what I could tell, Red Eye was able to get like get a triple, and this had to do with like adjusting in order to move around and adjusting the aim a little bit, and it really paid off for them as well. And Meat Boy, as always, with the re-sliders and the fizzy spams, you know, really just getting like some double picks left and right. And yeah, like almost they pretty much had like a lot they pretty much like figured out exactly what they had to do. But from what I could tell on the side of Candy Blaze, I definitely sensed that they were playing a little bit more far back. I did notice that the custom range blaster was definitely playing a lot from the ledges, but as for the rest of the members, they definitely weren't out there in trying to get like good positions, like either in like snipe area or even in like top right area. And I feel like those are very crucial and very good in getting some pretty crucial picks. So hopefully they are able to learn from their mistakes in game number 1 as they proceed to game number 2, Rainmaker on Museum Delfonsino.
The thing is about the snipes and saying about being in those positions with the snipe points, the issue is there is always a ledge, and when you have a blaster that you need to be worried about, it's best not to go there because you can get AoE'd because of the blaster getting 2-tapped on the spot. And even with the custom range blaster or the custom spots, you can get either tracked, you can get splat bombed or burst bomb, I think, and you can get immediately damaged there, and with a second hit, you're gonna be immediately be dead. So that's most likely be the reason why they were not trying to go for the ledges or for the snipe points, or at the same time too, because they wanted to group up all together to come back in because it's special they had. But again, that was all because of zones as well too. Now we are going to be going to an actual mode again, a Rainmaker, which everyone is going to be controversial about because this was the certain map mode that we saw the event history come out, but we are going to be seeing the weapons coming in. We are going to be seeing a really big change from the side of Kill Switch, a full-on weapon switch, while for the side of Candy Blade, it's most likely going to be the same thing. Main thing is with Owen Fox, they're going to be running the 52 gal again with a lot of swim speed. You might be seeing them pick it up a lot more, but same with Emerald, again, the main Blaster player we saw last time being able to do crucial kills, as we see immediately the 52 gal being died by a cooling bomb.
Yeah, and we see now here that Candy Blaze was able to get an easy break on the first checkpoint. Just there was no one on the side of Krill Switch having a out in their spinner area, and they pretty much just like left an opening for Candy Blaze to just go in and were able to break the first checkpoint. But as I say that, we now see the members of Krill Switch finally getting their push going here, and Candy Blaze out here trying to pay up for their resources and throw as many many of their subs as they can.
The thing is as well for Culture, they might be thinking like a third eye kind of sense, because if you saw it before, okay, well, congrats to me, boy, you got a hammer kill. The main thing is though for Culture, they let the Candy Blades actually pick it up first because they want to get control, they want to get specials first, because if you saw in the first 5 seconds when they got the checkpoint, immediately we just got featured. Oh, where is the Reaper going? What? Wait a second. No one does this, but this is the rare chance that you can go to the right side. You can actually like go pretty far with that. If they went straight to the far left, they would have actually got the KO right there because the ball was placed in exact good timing. But that's a rare 1% chance that anyone does that, like 0.1, because no one actually does that method. The more risky chance would have been on top left, where people go for the free jump. But that's the first time that this ever happened, actually. So congrats, you now have full points, go stretch it. Now you just need to hold for 3 minutes, unless Candy Blade goes for full-on sweep, go for full-on KO for basically 3 minutes and get all the way to the end, because you have to do a KO at this point.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna be a really big, big hurdle to jump over for
Okay.
Candy Blaze, and
Okay.
oh my god, me boy, not the hammer, man. But yeah, like as I was saying before, yeah, it is definitely a massive hurdle to overcome, because Museum Rainmaker just feels very tough to get like a knockout in, and yeah, especially if one player, like especially if one team has a very huge lead, has a huge lead, and I think breaking that lead after when passing the first checkpoint is really hard, and unfortunately though we won't be able to see that as Krill Switch was able to get a knockout and win the second game of round 2 of Swiss. Hey, I said it! I finally said it!
You said it correctly!
Yeah, I said it correctly. Let's go. Anyway.
Yo, congrats, nice. But oh my god, I have to say I have to say it. But okay, Coach Switch at the end, they could have KO'd all off the spot. I'm saying that right now. But the main thing is for Coach Switch, congrats on the 2-0. The second one, I'm being critical here. Why did you have to do that, man? That's a little bit of disrespect right there. So like, honestly, like, congrats you got the 2-0 on me, boy. Yeah, congrats on flexing, but dude, that's a little bit disrespect. If the other teammates and if the other people of a Candy Blade like notice it out and say that was disrespect, all fair. That it's a little bit just playing with your food there. But again, congrats, you won the 2-0, but maybe KO a little bit quicker next time. But the main thing is though, we saw that you do the 0.1% jump, so congrats there too. We saw you guys play aggro really good. That's really good for you as well. And as well in your group, you are going to be moving on to having to fight against your seed number 4, by the way. So good luck with that, being seed 25. But again, the main thing is they are 1-2-0. They move on to either move on to Hamhead or to Great White. But for Candy Blades, though, they are seed 53. They are trying the best, and they definitely did try the best overall. They were able to hold in the game 1 really well, but in the game 2, they were just being super awkward. They were playing pretty slow compared to Kill Switch, because Kill Switch was playing super fast. He had a hyper aggressive comp, just like a blank Z kind of comp right there. While for Candy Blaze team were trying to catch up. They were trying to just play in 1v1 fights, but unfortunately, the 1v1 fights turned them into death. So, congrats to Krill Stretch. Again, you'll be moving on. Candy Blaze, you'll be moving on to battle against Seed 53 to see if you move on to Mako bracket or to Lantern bracket. But again, that will be it for that match. And also one thing I have to shout out, because you know some people from Krill Stretch. I know about Red Eye, so shout outs to Red Eye and also to Owen as well. And I think that would be enough for me to talk about them. Do you have any last thoughts of that match before we possibly go to break?
Not a whole lot to say, but I will say that, like, despite the struggle during those two games, I really do think that Candy Blaze really had some golden moments during zones. Like, they were able to flawlessly retake the zones quite a lot. And just were able to get some good stalling in and get some good picks, get some pretty crucial picks left and right. Yeah, unfortunately though, I cannot say a whole lot during Rainmaker on Museum, because
that happened. So
that happened.
Yeah.
But regardless, though, still really good effort played by Candy Blaze, and hopefully in the next round things will definitely be a better time for them. But anyways, we will be taking I believe a break in just a moment here, folks.
Well, a little bit of a break before we shout something else, because this weekend, remember, it's going to be Super Jump number 7. Before was Super Jump 6, and look at that. Hey, remember the funny meme of 6-7? December 6th to December 7th. And even in the old trailer, it was Super Jump 6 and Super Jump 7 that was advertised. What a coincidence. But Super Jump 7. Super Jump 7, December 6th to December 7th.
You know, I'm like this tempted to making a 6-7 joke, but for the sake of it, I'm not going to.
Do it.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
Do it.
I'm not going to, because I know a lot of my friends hate me for this, so I'm not gonna say this out. I'm not gonna say the 6-7 out loud. So that's not gonna happen.
if you donate to the Super Jump pool, I think there is donations that if you donate, you will actually help with the prize pool for Super Jump. GG/SJ, by the way. I think it's a thing that if you donate, you can help with the prize pool for it. So if you donate, Soprano will do the 6-7 joke on stream. That's only if you donate, though.
I mean, that's if I commentate in Super Jump, but that's not gonna happen.
No, it's not gonna be a Super Jump. It's gonna be another SOS. Only if you donate, chat. You will hear it's Sabrina 6-7 joke. But
all right, you know what? If that happens, I will try to do it at some point, but not gonna. Regardless, though, I think we should take a quick break before we get things ready on round number 3.
Again, we'll be back, but remember, sign up for Super Jump this weekend. Welcome back, gamers, to SOS number 209. We are here with Boy, with Sign the Greatest Yet, with the wait, what is that? Which one is that? Which graffiti is that? Wait, no, that's the hat. That's the hat that you get from Seven One. That's the Crustables hat, the worker hat, as the logo. Wow. Okay. Oh yeah. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi. I'm here.
So, how do you like working out the crust bucket?
I don't know. I don't have any opinion on that.
Fair.
But anyways, we do see some pretty familiar faces some familiar faces on both teams. I am very more familiar with Woke and Late KM, as they are part of Roulette, a team that recently got low ink banned back in June. Definitely two strong players from that team. Woke being notorious for running the Nautilus, and Late KM running being the backliner for the group. But yeah, honestly, I'm very familiar with those two players. As for the rest, while I do know their names, I'm not very familiar with them, but I'm sure you are, Jordan.
Yeah, funny enough, I kind of do, because Bertrand mentions too, if I remember, Spooky Mystic might be the Mystic I know, Bubman, Lullaby, but definitely Aki and Elder Pancake, those are some OG players right there from the era of 2023 to 2022 Splatoon scene, who actually grew all the way up here. But like you said, L8KM and Woke from Roulette, shoutouts to the AZ folks back there at Sunset Surge. We are going to be going to the match immediately with the boy in the yellow and signed the greatest yet in the blue. Immediately, the weapons we're going to be seeing as well, with a double sword comp from signed the greatest yet, and a pencil winning as well, and a knowledge coming in from boy.
Yeah, I want to say though, I am very interested to see the comp coming from the greatest yet. They are running completely backless this time around, and honestly, I want to see what they're cooking with this comp.
Well, what they're cooking is Hyper Dive, super aggro. That's what they're trying to do. They have the bubble because of the zone, because the bubble is a rectangle that you can actually cap the zone, cap the bubble within that will actually cover almost half the map, and so also with the strike that came out as well, that can cap the zone actually pretty fast if you want to try it in. But with the 2 down from side, you get greatest, even now with 3 down from side the greatest yet, we are going to be seeing Boy right now going in with 35 penalty text to remaining, and at the same time to a 52 gal going in with the kill, where immediately off the back getting a soul kill right there on Aki, and on the left side trying to go in for a 2v1 battle for Mystic, but unfortunately they do lose, and Boy still holds on to the zone with another kill from Aki coming in, jumping in from the base.
Yeah, and I was gonna say something, but I just realized that the timer just immediately went to a knockout. Sure enough, Boy was able to get a clean knockout and winning the first round of this set. Yeah, honestly, I definitely just wasn't paying attention to the timer ticking down. I was ready to say, like, this Boy was able to get not only a wipeout, but is now able to get ready to position themselves in the choke area and just wait for the rest of the greatest yet to just immediately go in. And but nope, that didn't happen. As Boy was able to win Splat Zone's Robo Ramen in round 3, and now we are heading straight to game number 2, Clan Blitz Barnacle.
In the game when we saw Boy just being super aggro, being to hold on, and even with the range buff they had, because they had the Nautilus, they are able to just hold on very well and be able to hold and able to secure their positions. Just the specials was just the added bonus, and like mentioned in the start of the game for Robo as well, Sign the Great Jet did not want a backline, not even a cooler in a sense as well too. They were all relying off the vibes of them able to play super aggro, playing to kill, being able to wipe them out in the first 30 seconds and keep on wiping them out, shutting them down inside their own base. But nope, we saw the other thing happen with Boy actually shutting them down in their own base in Splash's Robo Ramen. They tried to get the zone once, but immediately right after they were able to just get killed off, and Boy was able to just play defensive like just a tower. And like in Clash of Clans, who knows, something like that. But the main thing is we're going to be now going on to Clan Blitz Barnacle and Dive, where Hyper Aggro is going to be a solid thing. But in this map though, you will need to have space, which for Boy, since they have the Knowledge and the Pencil, is going to be really good for their side.
Yeah, definitely taking a lot of space in Barnacle Lands is very vital, especially since it is a relatively open. I'm not sure if you agree with that, Jorjay, but I definitely think it is relatively open in this map mode specifically. And as we see here, Nothing new out of the ordinary. I do see Eater running the Frozen Pro on the side of the greatest yet.
Even though it is going to be open in terms of Splatoon maps or Splatoon 3, it is open. There is a little bit of elevation because of that ramp in the middle. That makes it even more open, really. But it just gives another chance for maybe like a DPS offset, more or less. But we are going to be seeing, like you said, we are going to be seeing the Winter Pro coming for the side degree jet that will get them a lot more pay. But if you see that double for the Knowledge and Fern coming in for support as well, that's not going to be really strong for them, with Fern actually being able to throw in the first ball, and power clams and small clams coming in right after, but the missiles are going to be throwing them backwards.
Yeah, off to a great start for Boy. Able to get 2 power. Oh wait, I'm not sure if it was 2 power climbs in, but regardless though, they are able to get past the. They were able to get to the 50 points remaining here, make it, and they're sure enough keeping making the points go down just slowly and steadily. But unfortunately though. That is going to be the end of the push for Boy, as the greatest yet are recollecting themselves, retaking mid here. But with late KM out in the open, they were able to get a vital pick on, I believe, the decaf. And still though, nothing is really changing. Things are just going. Things are just looking pretty neutral right now. But 2 members on the side of the greatest yet just went down.
The main thing that we saw from Lake KM is, yeah, they did get the challenge decaf. It was really good for them, but at the same time too, that push was equivalent to 2 power grams actually, and a little bit extra. So you were basically correct on that more or less. But they had more chances with the small clans, which actually I think gives a little bit more points if you do it only the solo clans. But with sign the greatest getting a wipeout on Boy, we are going to be seeing them trying to push in, but as you saw in a few seconds before, they were not able to push in with as much of aggressiveness until now, because they don't have the range for it. They have to go up and fight them to do it. We saw that they have tried to go for 1v1, but the potential from late KM trying to shut them down. Woke is still trying to be helping with Comet, trying to shut either and Aki down as well, but we're going to be seeing actually the Pro go down. So unfortunately, we are going to be going back to stalemate while Aki and the rest of the team trying their best to push into the side of Boy's space, but everyone is still standing tall and making it a stalemate.
Yeah, the greatest yet are really just fighting with all their strength. You know, just making sure to not give up the space that they conquered. But we do see a couple of members from Boy just going in immediately and able to take out a few of the members one by one. The decav initiated the bubbler, and this does help out the members of the greatest yet to go in along with the missiles. But wait a minute, I see 2 players going down.
That 2 players going down is going to be buffed by a bomb actually, or even by the blaster on the side of Boy. But that even happening once again because of the aggressive of Rogue, Fern, and Comet coming in all together, as they actually put in the clamps and the small clamps as well, bringing them out of penalty, but going down to 26 points, down to 23, with Comet actually getting the kill. Okay, not down to 23 yet, but soon enough actually going down to 20 points, with Folk coming in as well. 1 power cam full is going to be ending up to be a GG's, but with no clamps on the mark right now, on the ground at least, that is on the beautiful Boy. That's going to be the end of the push, and for signing the greatest yet, that's going to be a scary factor.
It definitely is. And despite, Boy trying to get a knockout, they are definitely onto something, as they were able to go from I believe less than 50 all the way to 20 now, and that definitely is going to stall. That definitely does stall out a little bit of time for the greatest yet, because now they are in a very they are in a somewhat predicament where they have to figure out how to have as much control in not only the map but the entire clam economy. And as we see here, Misty, the decav, was able to sneak in from behind, releasing the bubbler and able to get the basket open. But unfortunately, though, none of the rest of the members on the side of the greatest yet were not fully prepared. and don't have enough clams in their favor, resulting in Boy winning game number 2 of round number 3 in Swiss bracket.
It's the curse of the sneak. You try your best to sneak in, but if you're the solo player last alive and everyone else being dead, you are trapped in the 50-50, and definitely in this mode as well, because if you saw back in the map, you saw Mystic and they are alone fighting in the 2v1 actually. It was a near death fight, but we saw Fern coming in from the middle to get the ball back in. That was, I think, actually the Pindy coming back in, but because of the timing, it was unfortunate for them that they were not able to come in and settle through and finish off the game. But we are going to be seeing, like you said, Sabrina, we are going to be seeing Boy move on to the 2-0 victory, and they will be moving on to the Great White bracket because this was the round 3 match that was deciding if they move on to Hammerhead or to Great White. So congrats to them.
Yes, congratulations indeed. That was definitely like the most like intense moment, definitely the most heated match out of this particular group, especially since both of these teams were seated. Both of these teams are literally seated next to each other. Boy being in seed 14, and then signed the greatest yet in seed 15. Yeah, this was definitely just two teams really fighting for who gets to have the spot in the Great White bracket, and yeah, I definitely was on the edge of my seat for this, but but yeah, sure enough though, like Boy was just able to like really come out of these moments where they feel like they were stuck, but they just were able to like learn to adapt out of it quickly. And yeah, and as for the greatest yet, like they definitely had a lot of good opens and just a lot of good retaking and everything in mid and everything. But unfortunately though, there was just something that went wrong during the whole game plan, I guess. And yeah, pretty much yeah, it definitely was there definitely was like certain things that happened, and you know, like these teams definitely had something figured out, but yeah, and yeah, just a lot of things that happened during this heated game, during these heated games.
A lot of things happened during those heated games, but in the end, Boy was able to sign up and get the win in the 2-0. And like you said, Sabino, being able to be close seat to each other because of Sendu points made this a really close match. But in the end, based on mechanical wise, Silent Degree just was not really up to the par tonight against seed number 14 Boy, who seemingly like they were more prepared to fight in the action, able to jump in even more. And I don't know specifically if the Fern I'm thinking about is a remixed Fern, who is streaming right now on Twitch, or this is a different Fern. I feel like this is a different Fern because I feel like remixed Fern might be playing with someone else. But the main thing though that we know is Boy will be moving on to the Great White bracket. But main thing is, as we can see in this scene itself, from our stream of Pipe Stream, we see that Group N was able to sweep the whole competition. This whole group was just 2-0s. Why not we try to look in other groups while we have a little bit of stalling to do?
Yeah, yeah, I'm just like scrolling in all the different groups to see how they were doing, and as I can see here, Group A, like a lot of 2-0 sweeps happened as well. Yeah, Group A had a similar situation with a clean 2-0s on the side, like Group N. I also do notice that Group L as well happened to have another clean 2-0 as well. Like, and even Group K also had a lot of clean 2-0s. My goodness. Not even a game, not even like a round 3. Like, come on, we need a round 3.
Well, talking about round 3's funny enough, if we go to Group J, actually, we see a little bit of interesting stuff going on, because we see in round 1 there was two game ones there was 2 games 3 that happened, and even if you look at actually Group I, there was something that happened that was pretty interesting. That was a game number 3 that happened, and look at that, there's gonna be another game 3 happening right now too. But the main thing is though, right now, if you look at Group F currently as well too, there is a funny little thing of team names of Subway Surfers, so-called Fate Anchor, and the OG team of Los Inklings. I had to shout out because of the goats of Los Inklings being able to play consistently in SOS to practice and play for fun. So shoutouts to Los Inklings to continue the streak, but also Subway Surfers. Where's the gameplay on the stream, huh? We need some we need some stimuli.
I mean, I don't know, but I'm not the. I don't have. Oh.
Can we go to Group N? Wait, real quick. Can we go to Group N?
Yeah, let's. Yeah, go ahead. Pop off.
Yo, no, Group M, not N. M. So right now.
Well.
Yeah, Speno. Look what's happening.
Oh. Yeah. Looks like round 3 is we're definitely having game 3s.
Game 3, you called it, and now we're seeing it. The match that we need to wait for is now being played, and while the game 3 just finished as well, with Side Out's big day out just finishing, and they will be moving on to a white bracket as well.
Yeah. Wait, you were saying something about Subway Surfers.
Subway Surfers in the corner. Just... yeah, that video.
Listen, this is definitely gonna be a bit of a hot take, but I'm not the biggest fan of mobile games, especially Subway Surfers. Like, most of them don't really hit me up that hard as I remember, you know. They definitely are fun, like when I was younger, but I don't know, looking at them back as an adult, I'm like, why did I spend my time playing those games when I could be playing the actual good games, you know?
That is true. Like, the reason is now because there's too many ads in the mobile game app in mobile games, because there's too many ads that need to be skipped over.
Right.
So that's why that's why mobile games kind of fell off in this generation. That's why we all have Nintendo Switches or Dream Decks or even like PCs or even like VR to play in, because we have so much more opportunities. But if we have something that we need to do and we're kind of bored and we can't watch YouTube, the last resort is playing with our phones and playing on Subway Surfers. But the main thing though, as we are going to be setting up for the next bracket, it might be a good time to go to break, because we might need to have a little bit more stimuli or watch some puppies or, you know, some kittens or even some ducks. Subway Surfers gameplay here. Honestly.
While I grab myself some water, I want to look more on some steam trains, because they definitely bring me happiness.
Yes. Let's just have that trains and cute puppies video instead of that text. Please, my dream. Let's just change that text to puppies and trains gameplay here.
But anyways, folks, while we go ahead and
yeah.
Let's go. But anyways, we will go ahead and take a real quick break as we have the rest of the staff organize all of the brackets, and we'll be back in just a moment as we will get to commentate a round from the Great White Bracket.
Every player, every pixel. We got it covered. At Broadcasting Esports Every Play, we open the discussion with our podcast, Splat Chat.
Stamp, either Screen or Kraken, and Cooler. Now, Chara's...
Support us with extra hands at broadcastbeep.com/help, or you can watch live at broadcastbeep.com/live. Let's put the community together and uplift the key players.
no talking, but I hope that you can hear what I'm thinking. Either way, I'm glad you're keeping your distance. I never meant to leave you out in the cold, and now it's just business. Couldn't bear what I was doing to your heart. Doesn't matter who began, we were both wrong. Even now I see you better alone. Tell me that you're gone even though you're still missing something you want. I'm a second away from giving into what we both lost. Back and forth. Back and forth. Tell me that you're gone, even though you're missing something that you want. Can't keep pulling back and forth. Tell me that you're gone, even though you're missing. Temptation to call you when the rain crashes my day. I feel thoughtful, and our words they meet again like a circle. Now I'm laying down in this bed of pain. Memories of our last touch disappear when I remember your fast love. Forgiven or forgotten, I can't trust anything that you ever say again. Tell me that you're gone even though you're still missing something you want. I'm a second away from giving into what we both lost. Back and forth. Back and forth. Back and forth.
Welcome back to SOS number 209. We are here with Unbesiegbare, Flotten, Mirage, and Razorline XP. Unbesiegbare Flotten is Invincible Fleets, Mirage in the translation, and Razorline XP is Razorline XP. They are raising the line to get better XP scores in the X-Wing and not any other games. Anyways, I am back here with Sabrina. How are you, Sabrina, for our last set of the night? For us at least.
Honestly, I am very, very excited because I do recognize some familiar names on both teams. I'm very excited to see like what comps they'll be running. Because I think from what I could tell, these players that I'm familiar with, they run weapons that aren't really too common in today's meta.
Are you talking about Razorline XP?
I believe so, and I think a few of the members from Invincible Fleets Mirage. I'm probably gonna go by the English translation of that. But regardless though, or I should probably just wait, you know what? I think Invincible Fleets might be the way to go.
Yep, you can't. Yeah.
Because I feel like if I just say Mirage, I feel like I'm just referring to Mirage, who is also playing for this team.
Mm-hmm.
But
The main
I also do see, but yeah, I feel like I do, if I remember correctly, I think a few of the members from Invincible Fleets run some pretty uncommon weapons, but I might be wrong because they do seem to be running some pretty common weapons in today's meta, and I do see Ali running the Tetradualies from the side of Raise the Line.
The main thing is you might be thinking about for Unbesiegbare Flotten is because two of the players, my own and Musty, is by Spinner. But because we don't see Chloe here or the fourth, because I forgot the name, unfortunately, here we are going to be seeing them play in with Zen and Mirage. Mirage from the cafeteria actually is Zen the pickup, being the pickup all around actually as well too. So, but Mayona Westy not being able, well, Westy actually played earlier in Paddington earlier today, so this is the second tournament of the day. But for Mayona, this is the first tournament of the night actually, and making it all the way to the top is going to be pretty well. While for Raise the Line XP, you know them if you went to the land scene in the Sea Battle side or even in the Booyah Bay side as well. You're going to be seeing Ali, Westy, Kronos, Gabe, Ali being the Tetra player, Westy being the decaf player, and Kronos and Gabe, the sword and the bow phenomena. But we're going to be seeing them play a little bit of different weapons this time because we are going to be seeing a mini splatting here. And that's actually going to be coming from Kronos if I remember correctly too.
Yeah, I am very curious to see like how Kronos will play with the regular mini splatling, because normally in today's meta, I normally would see either the Zuka mini or the Zinc mini, and I know like people. I know people prefer those because like they have some pretty powerful specials, while meanwhile Mini on the other hand just has the burst bomb, which is such a really good combo, both the Mini and the burst bomb here. But we're getting way too off topic regarding to talking about weapons. We see here that Invincible Fleets are out in the court of Raise the Line here. We do see the specials being used by, especially coming from the Mini here. They were able to get one pick on the Gal, and unfortunately they do get taken out in the process, but hopefully this does distract them, as we see now that the members are trying to push in, and now the zone is in neutral here. Are they able to get it? Unfortunately, no, and Invincible Fleets are just rushing in, taking out players left and right here, and getting the knockout in game number 1.
Yep, Unbesiegbare Flotten is Mirage is able to be taking the first game on Splatoon on Hagerfish Market. The main thing is for Raise the Line XP though, they were able to come into the zone and try their best to balance some points, but again, against a regular comp like Invincible Fleets Mirage, unfortunately you have to try to think a little bit more on your gameplay, on your mechanics to try to do better than you think before, because for Raise the Line XP, that is why they're playing these weapons as well, why they're playing their own couple of weapons, because they're trying to raise the line on their own skill sets. Because for XP, technically the XP here is center points, and technically the result for it being first place and SMS number 209. So they are trying to raise the line with the weapon to prove a point that you can play anything you want in Splatoon 3 and you can still do well with it depending on how mechanically well you play. But if mechanically playing well is one thing, another thing is team synergy, which Invincible Fleets Mirage has, because they can play super aggro with it. So with that game one going to the side of Invincible Fleets Mirage in game 1, we're immediately going to game 2 with Tower Control and Ship J Cargo. Let's see what happens for Raise the Line XP if they can come back from this.
And seeing here, nothing out of the ordinary for both of these teams, actually. They seem to be sticking with what they feel comfortable with. And I'm very surprised that they're not even running a leader, because I feel like leader is such a really good weapon for tower ship shape here. But anyways, we now see Invincible Fleets taking a lot of control here. We see Zen trying being very aggressive from the start here, and now this does enable the members of Invincible Fleets to take control of the first checkpoint here. and they are just up in their Raise the Line's plat here, just taking out members. Even though they're going down in the process, they are just not. They are just ready to get back in.
Yes, Invincible Fleet's Mirage right now just able to hold the line right now because of how much aggressiveness they have in general. As we see Rusty and Mayoni just coming in with Rusty immediately with the Forge Ball, even to get a solo kill as well off the bat. They have so much range against Raise the Line XP that really they can do whatever they want in a comfortable spot like we saw right now. They are going to be seeing now Rusty coming in, trying to play aggro as much as possible. But Mayoni on the top left side, a really aggressive spot too with the 52 gal from Zen on the right side trying to battle off the decap, and they do win that too. That last one life from Unbesiegbare Flotten, aka Invincible Fleet, going to be the end of the push right there with Raise the Line XP finally getting control. But now let's see if they hold it and get paid.
Yeah, and right now, Raise the Line is immediately already taking control of their left stacks now. We see Chronos having their Ultra Stamp ready, able to get a pick on the Gal, very huge pick there. And with the help of, I believe it was the Tetras, Ali, yeah, they were able to get another pick on the Stamper there. They were trying to get the Reef Slider out, but unfortunately gets taken out by the Pencil on the side of Invincible Fleets. But I think with all of that, despite all of that though, like members going down in the process, they are still just really keeping it together, and just, they were able to break the first checkpoint now, and my goodness, they are, like, despite like all of that, they are still holding strong.
This is the definition of raising line. They were able to hold. We saw Invincible Fleets holding line at the first bit because they had so much aggressive power. But now raising line XP able to raise their own line and going up into the lead now. To the final checkpoint to the victory because they were able to fully KO it off the bat. Able to flex why the weapons are strong, why they are mechanically better in the gameplay sense, and being able to mechanically wise and essentially wise why they are the better team in a mode like tower control. Take that in consideration. This is tower control, where it can be a snowballing map and a snowballing mode as well on Chip Chicago. Now we are going back to zones for game 3 with Woman. We saw Invincible Fleets was go in all the way and be super aggro against them, but it was a more open map with more sneaks. It's going to be the same thing here, but with really more weird elevation. And also the woman ball on top. So we'll see what will happen there.
Yeah, I am honestly not too sure, like, how the Tetras will play in Zones Robo, because, at least for me though, as a dualies player, I feel like dualies, certain dualies like this one, like V dualies, just tend to struggle a lot in Robo zones because it's more midline favored in my opinion, and I've had really terrible experiences while just struggling in Zones Robo in the past. So I feel like for Tetras, I feel like they're kind of in the same boat as V dualies. I feel like, but I don't know. That's just my that is just my opinion. I'm not very too familiar with Tetras, especially since like we don't normally see Tetras in today's meta. I feel like, so it's nice to see that weapons like the Tetra dualies are still being used, and yeah, like Ali is certainly making a name for themselves with Tetras.
Again, Ali is one of the well-known Tetra players in this scene, actually, as an OG player who actually has the Yellow Jackets tag, if anyone knows about that team. So that's going to be the main thing they're trying to strongly shout out right now, as we're going to be seeing for the rest of the side of its line XP, with the side of Chronos right now being able to hold on with the hammer, trying their best to go for the kill on Myona, but not able to get the cut there. 3 down on the side of Razor Line, holding the lane once again. That's going to be Invincible Fleets holding on to the best they can with specials. And again, here we are, the stalemate, the snowball effect of Mobile Robin. If we can't see Razor Line be able to go on through, this might be GG's.
I do, yeah, and from what I could tell, two members on the side of Raise the Line did get taken down in Sneaky, and we see the pro just sharking in the little amount of ink, trying to get a pick, but unfortunately was just able to get a poke with only one shot. But they have their Booyah, along with the gal having the whale, this does create a huge stall for them, not letting any of the members from Raise the Line to go in. But the hammer comes out from the side from Kronos and the reef slider from Ali, and they were able to retake the zone immediately here. Ali does get taken out in the process, and now Gabe is just trying to fight for survival here. Just hugging the walls a lot, and as I say that, I don't know what just happened, but it looks like the stamper on the side of Invincible Fleet just got a crazy, just created a massive like distraction, allowing the members to get the wipeout.
But no, that was a zip double.
It was?
That was a zip double. So yeah, that's why we saw O's even from our streamer pipe dream in the VC. That's why we saw the O, because that was a chaotic play and the chaotic timing of events. Even with that timing too, Invincible Fleet's Mirage is able to hold onto the zone really long with 7 ticks remaining, and actually from Ali, the last second clutch of the Reef Slider and the 3 down on the side of Invincible Fleet's Mirage. That's gonna be Raise the Line XP not having any penalty points anymore. Now what we need to see from Raise the Line XP is to hold the line right now, because like it did in the game with Ship Cargo, if they have aggression, they will take advantage of it, but they cannot die. That's the main thing that we are worried about right now for Unbesiegbare Flotten right now, because if they kill anyone like right now with Raise the Line XP getting 2 down, but they still control the zone, we are gonna be in a madness right now with Ali going down, and Kronos going down, and even Gabe going down.
This is just an insane back and forth between both these teams. Like, I think after you know what happened in the last 2 games, these two teams are really fighting to survive.
Oh my god!
Stay in the tournament a little bit longer here, but I believe the pressure is just really getting to Raise the Line right now, as a couple of members are getting down, as Invincible Fleets have been just, you know, throwing a lot of their resources at them, just really getting themselves, like, really getting Raise the Line out of position here. And because of that, they were able to get not only a knockout, but win the first round of Great White Bracket.
So talking about resources, the resources were bombs, and today, bombs were having a little bit of a funny run in the 2 tournaments that happened today of SOS and SOS now and Pounding Crew earlier. Bombs were the main game difference in some games for both tournaments today. So it's kind of great to see that bombs are still resourceful, even though there was no junior playing. It's still great to see that Such Bombs was able to get 2 kills from Rusty at the end of the game to secure the bag for Unbesiegbare Flotten. And Raise the Line will unfortunately be holding the line now in the top 16, top 12, more or less, something like that. But as they're going to be securing there. So they are going to be stopping with right back in round 1. Congrats to you guys. Unfortunately, game 3 lost, but GG's go next. There's always next week, or there's always X rank.
Yeah. Honestly though, like, I just really was like amazed by what I saw during this entire round. Like, both of these teams put on such a great show. Definitely not a like super hype, but it was definitely like a round that I was super invested in. Like, I really just liked all of the plays that both these teams just pulled off. Like, they really just put on such a good show, as I mentioned earlier.
Even though it might have been not the hype besides like a grand finals, it was hype enough that we were able to show off the niceness of how many people can play their own weapons if they come with it from Raise the Line XP and from Unbesiegbare Flotten, or aka Invincible Fleets, because they, it's more specifically Myona and Rusty, they are kind of trying to feed off the wage of trying to get a tournament win, because they kind of got robbed from a recent tournament, actually. So they're trying to get that feedback and winning it in SOS, because again, Spooky Spinner won earlier in Pounding Pool. So if Unbesiegbare Flotten wins and we right, technically, Spooky Spinner won 2 tournaments today. But the main thing though is for Raise the Line XP is defense. Again, they're kind of getting to the top level era. They're all on mid to high level right now. So if they all keep playing together as a fan group, they will be all playing great. But for right now, we are going to be now being forced to sign off because, as you see in the flavor text swapping commentators, we have been yapping too long. So, Soprano, where can we find you on the social medias?
Well, you can find me on Blue Sky and on Twitch. I pretty much mostly just talk about my competitive Splatoon journey. I also do share some of my IRL shenanigans, so if you want to see some of that, what's been going on with my life, at the moment, I'm just venting about my struggle with prepping for finals. So if you want to see some of that goofiness, as well as just some of my, comp journey Splatoon adventures, you can follow me on Twitch or on Blue Sky. But what about you, Jorjay? Where can the awesome people in chat find you?
If you want to find me, you can find me at Dapper Productions, streaming them more often. Or if I ever commentate, you can find me either commentating here or even commentating in some Ultra events or even streaming Ultra events on Twitch as well. But if you want to find me, I guess, if you ever want to, I don't know why, Jorjay.bsky or Jorjay51 on Twitter if you're even on that site anymore. But for me, mostly you will see me streaming. But also, we need to shout out again before we wrap up. Super Jump is this weekend, December 6th and December 7th. At the same time, too, CCA Circuit Finals going on this weekend, December 6th and 7th. And also Big Dapple, December 6th. Yeah. A lot of stuff. A lot of huge events. Too much chaos.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Alrighty, we'll go ahead and pass the mic over to Rose and Nito, who will be your commentators for the remainder of SOS here, folks. We wish you all a good time zone, and we will see you all very soon.
Wish you all a good time zone. Nice to meet you. Anyways, yeah, goodbye.
What better way to start the happiest time of the year than with another swimmer sink? Jorjay and Sib took you throughout the start, and we're going to take you the rest of the way. It's me, Nito, and joining me is going to be Rose for swim or sink number 209. We're going to continue all the great white action, starting with Jorjay is very large, a loud and proud statement, I must say, against Bird Game 3, which is not as specific.
But it is the third Bird Game 3.
Ah, okay.
I don't know what the bird game is, but it is the third.
Flappy Bird. Has to be.
See, my thought went to the pigeon dating sim from years past.
Okay. Yeah, that's been a while. That's one heck of a draw. But heading into this match, it is the second round of the Great Red Bracket. You previously saw the round one matchups take place. This is going to be the last best of three matchup you see, and we're going to start things off in Flat Zones, Barnacle, and Dime. You're going to see Jorjay is very large in the yellow and Bird Game 3 in the purple bluish color, and that is an ink brush. Lots of excellent choices here, Rose, and especially from Jorjay.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that. We've got that 52 gal, always an absolute menace. It is interesting that Jorjay is not running a backline, but I think they're going to be very, very aggressive here. As we see, they're already going in and taking space. Our good old 52 gal and that Bidoof is already threatening some space, but is going to be forced to be back up. And Bird Game is going to be the first ones to not only get points, but also the first ones to lose a player.
And it's very interesting because Jorjay is very large is the only they have one player next who is listed as only playing Brush, but it's Bird Game 3 that has the Brush right now. Something I'm going to have to keep track of as this game goes on. Jorjay very large, obviously in the lead here, but looks like so far so good for the Yellows.
It does, yes. They are starting to reach that 60 points left to go. And if Bird Game 3 doesn't get in, this map, if you get locked out, it is very hard to get back in there. But with the Booyah, able to clear some space, they're going to take that plat area back. DZ starting to get some chip damage in on there, but not able to follow up on that. And the points are still counting down for Jorjay is very large. They still have a really good control of that zone.
No kidding. I mean, no player from Bird Game has been able to make it past this little stack alone. I mean, Jorjay's been holding it down very well. All the other players of this team have been holding it down very well. And it looks like we're just going to be heading straight towards a wash. It is a best of 3, so no better way to start it than with a KO sweep like that.
Yes, we saw that looked like an aggressive comp, and that is exactly how they played it to its strengths, making sure that you are getting picks in, and then just making it very difficult for your opponent to be able to re-enter, which is already difficult on that map.
Yeah, no, and the one thing I like about these teams, now that they all understand, is that it's not enough to say that you want control of the map. You need to know where exactly you're taking this control and how. One thing I've noticed from Jorjay is very large is that a lot of them kind of just hovered around areas where they can all reach each other. That's what you're going to see from a lot of these high-level teams. So not much out of the ordinary. Again, it seems to me like a weekday affair, which, hey, it's a Wednesday, so I guess it makes sense. But it seems like we also a little bit of an error. It was supposed to be Mahi Resort I'm seeing, but we did play a Zones game, so doesn't matter.
We did. I know. We'll be going to Rainmaker Museum next, unless we load in and find out we're wrong. But what are your thoughts on that one?
I thought is that we had the wrong map.
Oh, there we go.
But
thank you, production. We appreciate you.
You guys are doing great, by the way. But one thing about Scourge, and one thing I want to take away from that match is that Jorjay is very large, already has that map control part on lock. I mean, you had one player next who I was about to point out while you were talking, didn't want to interrupt you though, but there's a player from next who just ran things from outside the screen well in enemy territory. If Jorjay keeps this up, this is going to be another wash, because Scorch is another map that's susceptible to those lockouts.
It is. They do have Fox on that pencil, which I think could be helpful for Bird Game 3 here if they can actually set up, and if they're able to hold forward and get that pencil set up in that middle tower area, that could be really, really helpful for them. But the first is, how is their opening going to go? They do get one pick down on next, taking out that Zinc mini Splatling, and now they can start running forward, hopefully set up their team. Brush, unfortunately, going to get taken out there, but I like that they're still holding forward here, as you can see.
And the good thing about that Brush is that you can't afford to lose it. It's going to be more of a skirmisher weapon for you, or at least for Bird Game 3. It doesn't matter, though, because that Brush has already come back. You lose that one player, you still have enough to keep these claims going. You have the Sniper Rider to the right side there for Jorjay is very large. That means you cover DZ. That means you cover that drop in case there's any flanks on Bird Game. I like the position they're taking here. Something to bring up against Jorjay.
Yeah, I do as well. Now, Jorjay is doing a good job of taking these fights together. They are down a person, and that Brush still, like you said, skirmisher, going to be really aggressive here, getting what I think was a nice bomb throw there. They're going to start setting up for their next push here, because they didn't score a lot of points last time, but if they can just keep up the pressure here, even though they only got down to 65, there you go. You get another clam thrown in. If Hermit can throw in more of those clams. No, but they are down to below 60 now. What's going to be key is to see whether they give up too much space here in mid.
That is going to be important. And that is important indeed, because again, Jorjay was a team that did very well in maintaining that map control. Once they get it, it's very hard for them to get out of those spots, or to get them out of those spots. So what Jorjay does with these next few picks is going to be important to watch as we see them start to come down for Bird Game. Jorjay is very large, starting to make their way. Jorjay themselves making their way to the basket. This is a huge opening for Jorjay. Do they have the power clam, though? It's going to be the move here. As we see that jump in, there's the power clam. There's going to be a lot more clams in tow, and they should be getting that lead.
Oh yeah, you saw that lead swapped so fast because they all had so many clams on them. They could just throw them in immediately. They knew that they set up, they had the bubble ready to go. They had somebody jumping in with the power clam and they could just score a ton of clams.
And that's the best part about it too, is that they all did it within seconds of getting those 2 to 3 picks. It's not just any sort of hesitation there. That's what you want to see from this level of play as we head past the halfway mark. There is Bidoof on the bottom of the screen trying to sneak by there. Next trying to sneak by as well. Is actually able to back out. But Bird Game 3 back to where they were earlier. Jorjay not having as much success on the defensive side of things. They're actually more susceptible to letting Bird Game run amok, and that might be their biggest concern here.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, that bubble. I think it's been giving a lot of value to Bird Game. Whenever they've been able to get in, that Mini can set up and hold that space, whether it's for setting up power clam throws, whether it's set for just, we want to hold this area to go challenge the basket. And it's worked really, really well from them. But this looks to be the end of this push. Fox was taken out there, and Jorjay is already running for that basket. They've got the bubble up. They throw it in. They're going to need to get more clams in order to get the lead swap here. But if they can keep pressure by the basket, while others like Jorjay coming in with 6 clams, just needs to throw in a few more. They get the lead. It is still going down. They still have all 4 people up in a wipeout. That's... They just need to bring it home now, but they do need to get the clams in the basket.
And that's what I was talking about earlier. As soon as they get things set up for themselves, they are virtually indestructible. And what better way to get yourselves suited up and ready to go than by putting 3 bubbles in front of the basket? I know you saw it. I saw it. I'm glad our camera op also saw it, because that was... Wow, no better way to coordinate than to just go ahead and put up a canopy right in front of the basket.
It's an unbreakable wall for a few seconds when you have so many of them together.
That is so... I don't know, you don't see that too often, but I'm glad we're seeing a lot of it now, as Jorjay is very large, able to complete yet another sweep to get a 1 whole sweep on round 2. This is best of 3 so far. Next up will be a best of 5 set, but Jorjay is very large, getting 2 sets against Bird Game 3, closing off that round 2 stage. We'll be moving on to semis real quick, but shortly. But I mean, Rose, this is a team that moved very quickly here, so we have a lot of time to talk about other things that could be going on in the competitive Splatoon world. And as far as I know, there's something coming up this weekend.
Oh, could it perhaps start with the word super and have the next word be jump?
And it ends with 7. And from what I know, it's on December 6th and the 7th. So, point hats off to the funny meme fans there. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like 5-6 or something. But the link is being spammed there in the chat by our producer Pipe Dream. It is a great tournament for all skill levels, because you will always make day 2. So no matter how well you do, no matter how much you struggle on that day 1, there will always be another opportunity for you to show what you got on that second day. It's a great opportunity, Rose. I've played in it myself. I can tell you, it's like you get the major land feeling, but in a online tournament, which is a nice little. It's a nice little gateway. It's a nice little gate to what you could be experiencing and what the best of the online world has to offer.
Yeah, I really, really recommend anybody who feels overwhelmed of being like, oh, I don't know if our team's that good enough to get into Super Jump. Sign up and play. You're going to get a lot of practice. It's going to be good for you, and you're going to have a fun time. If you don't have any other plans this weekend, if you're not like me, I'm going to be at Big Dapple this weekend, so I won't be able to participate. I will be at an in-person LAN. But if you don't have plans, why not sign up and have some fun?
There's a lot to offer in the competitive Splatoon world, from the collegiate side all the way to the locals in your area. But for everyone, Super Jump is the place. For everyone, Super Jump will be the place to be for major tournaments. We've got all kinds of skill levels being represented there. We can't wait to see y'all then. in the meantime, we are waiting on our semifinal match. Just waiting on one more match. Actually, it's going to be. I lied. It's actually ready, according to our producers. So, don't listen to me. Your next match is right here. Yeah, we move fast here. Love it.
Yes, we move fast heading into My Life is a Social Experiment versus Boom.
Boom. I mean, it's short and simple. I like names that are short and simple, and names that don't call people very large. But you know what? That's we'll talk to you afterwards. There's a lot to talk about from both of these teams, I believe.
Yeah, and this is also going to be a best of 5. This is our semis going in here. I know some of these players here. Do you have any ideas or guesses on what kind of play styles we might be seeing here, Nito?
So let me start with the accolades because I feel like it's a good place to start. Sneevo Nori already won Swimmer Sync back in October 15th. They would play with Let's Get These Squad Wins for the Crew, which short and sweet, I guess. But they also got third place a few weeks ago in November with See It Now. And when you look at the comps, you're looking at something that's a little more conventional than what we may have seen from the previous teams. I mean, I'm looking at Sneevo especially. They run heavy edits. We're looking at Ori, see some of that slosher, which is still not exactly as pervasive as you might see in high-level comp play, but you still see a lot of slosher just because of how much range it has compared to other aggressive sloshers in its area, and also the ability to flick. So I like that you're seeing that there, and of course the rest of it should be conventional from the side of My Life is a Social Experiment.
Yeah, and I know I've certainly seen Woomy play a fair amount of Wiper. I've seen Decap. I've seen Woomy on Dualies.
Oh, there's a few. That's a Woomy classic.
Oh, of course. Love the IB Woomy Dualies. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see which one we end up seeing here. But I feel like I mostly know Tufa for blasters and like specifically S-Blast, which I feel like is just... S-Blast has not been a weak weapon by any means, but I've been seeing it really pop off recently. Just, it's got a great kit. It pairs so well with other players. It plays really well on its own.
Oh, absolutely. I believe Melon has been playing S-Blast for a few weeks to try it out. And there is a long list of attributes and things that you pointed out playing that weapon, but in order to congeal it all in a very easy to understand manner, it's a weapon in that it's a weapon that helps out very well with supporting your other teammates, and I think it's so well because of that kit, like you said, but because of the fact that you can switch how you shoot that weapon. I mean, you go for a long shot in order to support your teammates from afar. You can also play aggressive, and if you put jump, get a closer range shot, you catch people by surprise. The versatility of S-Blast is so underrated, or at least it was underrated. I mean, like you said, everyone's using it now. We're the hipsters by promoting it right now, just so you know.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, I thought that weapon was really strong earlier.
Back in my day.
Like, a part of me is glad that you all are picking it up, but also part of me really wishes you wouldn't, because I don't like fighting it. So.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so versatile, like you said. I think it enables you to play really fast and aggressive. And also, if you have teammates who are doing a lot of chip damage, you can just be like, cool, I'm gonna get in their face and just do a general shot in their direction or burst bomb it, and just, we've got nice special for being able to displace, take space. It's really great for, pushing objectives or pushing a particular choke point that you want to set up for the rest of your team to move in. It's just one of those weapons that's great for, you got tools for the rest of your team and yourself.
And it's just one of those tournaments where we get to see two high-level teams fight it out. This is the match I was talking about, by the way. It's the first match of the first game of semifinals here in Splat Zones and Mommy Rumins. My Life is a Social Experiment in the yellow, and Boom in the purple-blue. It's now more of a purple than anything, but regardless, we're seeing some not necessarily conventional in the sense of the good old pencil shooters and whatnot. It's more versatility here. I like it.
Yeah. When you look at the weapon comps here, it is definitely a lot of these are versatile weapons that you can sort of change how you want to play, whether it's minute by minute, second by second, or what does your team want to do? Woomy gonna get picked off there, so that does mean My Life is a Social Experiment is gonna keep bringing up these points, but it is a double zones map, so they are going to be forced to be able to control both zones at one time, but also if Boom ever wants to take it back, they're going to have to get both, which probably means they're going to have to get some good picks in here. Woomy's already playing really aggressive here, drawing attention over to this left side, still on their own at this point, but the rest of the team is going to start cleaning up, moving forward, but you see they still haven't been able to grab both zones. And I say, there we go.
And they cover those very well here. One thing I'm noticing about Woomy is that they are being very aggressively, like you said. I'm seeing them in a lot of 1v3 situations, but not without help. I mean, obviously, you're going to see Prosper most of the time cover them. I want to see other players like Tufa as well cover Woomy and see what else they can grab for it. But maybe sometimes Woomy doesn't need the help. They're able to get the trade there. Does enough to keep things at a 3v3 state for both teams, but not for long, as that Crab is able to cancel, not just cancel the blue, but at least take it out there. But My Life is a Social Experiment, quickly turning things around.
Yeah, they've been able to move very quickly, both in terms of obviously you're watching this Splash player dip and dodge very quickly, but also making very fast decisions. But Woomy, again, like you see, Woomy's always drawing that aggression. And I think if this team can set up Woomy to play in together, then they're going to have a lot of success being able to work whenever Woomy's drawing aggro. That was a really unfortunate hammer cancel there. That was not something that Boom wanted.
And hammer cancels are getting a lot more popular, just as hammer was getting popular, so we're starting to see some parity there. Unfortunately, we're not seeing the same parity in the score now. My Life is a Social Experiment just a few ticks away from getting a KO victory here, but things are starting to fall apart for them very quickly. Boom, now getting some picks down. Can they get the paint down as well? There's one zone. Prosper trying to cover this other zone here, along with Woomy, who's coming in with the hammer, able to get one pick. Ori is in danger here, jumps out just in time. Can Woomy get another? No, nobody home for that throw, but they do get both zones.
Yeah, and they did also force the rest of My Life as a Social Experiment to give up a lot of space. Prosper set up in a fantastic area for that pencil. You can control so much from this spot. Fortunately, it's going to have to give up a teeny bit of space just for a moment for those strikes. And with the Crab now definitely forced to back up here. I was a little afraid that it was only going to be those strikes and Prosper could just be like, well, I'm just going to step away for a second. But no, are forced to step back, but they're doing a really good job on Boom's side of holding this down so far. They are threatening this lead swap, which could happen any second now, so long as My Life is a Social Experiment doesn't cap both those zones. They're going to try to do so with those strikes. And that is oh my gosh. I'm just like, what did I just watch?
A great line from Ocean's 11 goes, you lose focus in this industry for 1 second, you could lose it all. And that's what we saw right there. Boom, just quicker on the draw with those zones than My Life is a Social Experiment, able to get the lead there with a minute to go. But you say the same thing about Social Experiment here. They're starting to hold out on the fort very well until we have these few picks trading from both teams. 55 seconds on the clock, no clear winner. The score shows that, and so does the gameplay.
It does. You see, there's fairly large penalty timers both teams will have to wait through to score any more points, which is really bad if My Life is a Social Experiment. But with one really good hold, if they can get some really solid picks here and then take a ton of space, they are still in this game. I would not call it over for them.
Absolutely not. It is 30 seconds left, and it is still anybody's game here, and anybody gets to who will win. Woomy, as ambitious as they might be, it goes down with that hammer, able to get at least one pick off before they do. and Boom is still down one player, but they're being very ambitious yet again. Tufa now leading the charge. Prosper right behind, providing some backup here. As long as they can hold these two zones, this will be open fields for them. Woomy, what will Woomy do? Not much there, as Social Experiment keeps two zones. Those will be going into overtime, but things are looking very dire on the other side there. Boom, two players going down. Prosper and Woomy are the only ones left, and they have to keep each other covered. They're doing so very well here. Can they do it with enough time? Yes, they do. Two players down. Oh my goodness, only two more players to go. Beat Booby and Tuba here. Tuba goes down, and so does the four. There's another go down. It's the Beat Booby and the 52 gal. No time for me to calm my voice down. There's another, and we're starting to clear this penalty points. Please don't let me go. This should be enough.
Nito wants to stop talking, and they take the lead in an absolutely insane hold.
Huh. I'm sorry, first of all, for talking that much. I don't know when this was. They didn't know when this was going to end. There's so many exchanges here that I thought, this is it. This is it. No, this is it. This is it. This is it. This is the story of the game for the next whatever games we have. This is the first. That's gonna be the story for this entire match. I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you, because I mean, just how much parity there was, especially in those last 2 minutes. This could go either way. I mean, you're gonna see 3-2. You could see 3-0. One of these teams is gonna make it to the grand finals, but the story might or might not tell the full story.
That was absolutely nuts. I know that was the only first game of this match, but that, I don't know. I could maybe put an early wager and say that might be my favorite game of this match so far. or rather, by the end, it'll still be my favorite. But wow. You know what? Rainmaker Manta, I do wonder, though, if we're going to go the full 5 minutes plus overtime on that one, or if it's going to be over really quickly. I never know what to expect on that map. It's a large map, but also as soon as momentum gets going, and if it's all in the favor of one side, that can end at a knockout really fast.
And that's the thing I like about these two teams. There's just so much parity that, like you said, with Rainmaker, if momentum goes heavily towards in the favor of one team, it could just be over from there. But that swing in momentum can just as easily favor another team. And we could see a 4 remaining versus 3 remaining situation like we saw in Splat Zone. So I'm excited to see what both of these teams bring it to the table here. I was going to make a comment about what Boom is doing with like helping each other out. Prosper alone does so much with the pencil and posing this sort of threat that like, hey, look, you can try to get to Woomy, you can try to get to Tufa, you can try to get to BWB. But I'm here with the pencil, and ultimately, I'm the one providing them cooler. I'm the one who's going to get them into the trenches, and if they go down, they're going to be back within 5 seconds. So Prosper is doing a lot just by being as a pencil, and I do want to point that out, because I think it's very valuable to Boom.
Yeah, and also, you know, if the opponent's getting chipped out with partial hits, indirects from that S-Blast, or taking some damage from Woomy on the Wiper, Prosper on the pencil, on that Snipe Rider, can clean up from farther away, even if one of them went down in that fight, and just be like, yeah, this was actually a 2v1 the whole time, I'm just way farther away.
And with that being said, Game 2 is on the horizon. Manta Maria Rainmaker. We do see some weapon changes. There's the Glamour Shot coming out from My Life as a Social Experiment. Boom now. Prosper now going with the heavy edits this time instead of the pencil, so you do have the Splatling on your side instead.
Yeah, heavy edits on both sides here, so cooler for both, but we're going to be trading some of that range for, you know, arguably often like being very mobile and playing very, very aggressive and a bit more forward. So I think we're going to see a lot of scrappy fights here. We already got 3 players down across these two teams. Prosper threatening a really quick check here, able to get that right check, and they're ready to keep moving this.
And that, Rose, is the art of misdirection. As we get to 43 remaining, as I'm saying that, they misdirected me. I thought that push wasn't going to go anywhere, but we got 43 remaining instead. Tufa is going to be forced back out here unless Woomy has anything to say about it. Now 37 remaining. Thank you, Woomy, for another example of how we should just go for the Rainmaker no matter what. Don't follow my
very
advice.
Cheeky. Just being able to get a couple more points and also stall it out for a little bit longer. It is now going to be My Life is a Social Experiment's time to start trying to get the first check for themselves. There is already one down on Boom. Tufa on the S-Blast is taken out. Sneevo, however, not looking to run this super quickly yet, but they are going to get jump scared by that hammer. Saved at the last second there. Tufa looking at them, though. More and more players from Boom looking at them, and My Life is a Social Experiment may have just waited a little bit too long to move that forward.
Yeah, I mean, you say that. Boom is already at this first pedestal, which they've already cleared out, so it's nothing to them. But like you said, they waited too long for it. Now Boom is right back where they stopped their push, and now they have even more ground. They have just about like plains of grass ahead of them, and now they're at 20 remaining. I mean, yeah, they go down. They go 3 people down. But My Life is a Social Experiment had lots of open fields in front of them, and they had the same thing happen to them again, just a little worse now.
In 20s, pretty good spot to be at with 3 minutes left to go. Really good early pushes from Boom. The pressure's going to be completely on My Life as a Social Experiment to be able to get past 20. Not only do they need to clear one of these checks, they need to then drop it all the way down, going towards the enemy's goal at that point, and that drop can be really difficult to do to get through the street.
And just like that, My Life as a Social Experiment was stuck between a rock and a heavy-headed Splatling, and the Splatling won. So, Boom back to where they were earlier. This is going to be a game of what do you do when those momentum shifts happen? Because those momentum shifts have been happening all game. Social Experiment goes back up to 70 remaining after a huge push from Boom. And now Boom is right almost back to where they were with 2 minutes remaining. Boom is doing a lot more against the momentum shifts than Social Experiment has been doing. But as a result, Social Experiment is starting to adapt more to what Boom has been able to bring. They're starting to cancel Woomy out a little more, and Prosper having to wait for these opportunities to move back in.
Yeah, you know, see, Prosper's going to explode very soon if they do not die before then. They've got about 10 seconds left to go. But they've done a great job of wasting time because, you know, like I said earlier, you know, when they hit 20, they had 3 minutes left to go. It's already been, you know, we're now nearing 1 minute left to go. And My Life is a Social Experiment has not even cleared the check yet. And it's still completely on their side of the map.
It hasn't moved since then, and it almost seems like it won't. Go ahead and prove me wrong. I always love a commentator's curse here, as you guys might know. But a minute to go. It doesn't seem like things are starting to change, and it's not like they're stalling it either. Prosper is still very much going for this final pedestal and trying to get these points on the board, which they do. 14 remaining, and there's still players from Social Experiment going down. This is the important thing. Tufa is still posing a threat to this glamour shot, forcing this Kraken to come out. And it's wasting resources for Social Experiment. They don't have anything to come back with. They don't have anything to shift the momentum with. So not only is Boom responding well, they're actually stopping these shifts from happening.
Yeah, Biba now doing their best, staying alive. They're just doing a really good job, everybody on this team, maintaining control. When you have such a huge lead, and in Rainmaker, your opponent hasn't cleared a checkpoint yet, you just see how much that like bluish purple ink color is on the field right now. My Life is a Social Experiment doing everything they can to throw whatever resources they have to get out here. They're popping all of their spectrals here. They need to pick up the Rainmaker. They do at the last possible second, but they still need to get this checkpoint cleared. Ori is holding this right now, but it's got to get taken out. Not even able to go for that flank there on the side. That was a dominant game by Boom.
See, this is what I like about Boom. Instead of just being like, all right, we can keep playing as long as we get the bigger push against My Life as a Social Experiment, they kept playing to increase that push. And when they didn't have the Rainmaker, they were finding ways to cut this hose that My Life as a Social Experiment is trying to use to plant their grass and try to grow an effective push. Like at the end there, Woomy goes around, nobody sees Woomy, And when they do, it's too late. You've already wasted a Kraken that you may have been using on a Rainmaker, and Prosper straying straight at you with heavy Splatling in hand and just completely shuts you down. Boom responds very well in game 2.
They do. They said, okay, we're holding the W key. All gas, no brakes. We're going to continue the pressure constantly. That is what I really like to see in Rainmaker when a team gets an early lead, that they keep threatening the knockout. They're not going to play stupid and take aggressive 1v4s holding the Rainmaker, but they are going to keep threatening it and being like, you know what, I'm going to be moving around to do my best to stay alive for as long as possible while holding the Rainmaker and looking for these good opportunities to move it forward every time I can, as opposed to just constantly running away and running backwards and giving up territory.
So as we head into game 3, Clan Blitz Museum Alpha Zito, it's 1-1. Unsurprisingly, I'm not surprised to say that there isn't a team in match point heading into this part of the match, but I think you already start to see where both of these teams could win. For Boom, it's going to be the far right and the far left side, because where do you send Woomy so that My Life is a Social Experiment just has no... Like, they have a plan and then they get punched in the face. It's exactly what Mike Tyson warned us about. So what does Social Experiment do? And for Social Experiment, how do you stop everything that Boom is bringing you? Because remember, as soon as the momentum shifts in your favor, all you need to do is hold that. You're doing very well like you did in Splat Zones in getting that lead. So how do you bring that back?
Yeah, that will be the question moving into this. We know Boom likes to play super aggressive. Prosper switching back to that pencil, which I'm not too surprised about for Museum. That's going to be a lot of range control on their side. Going to be very, very helpful on this stage in particular. My Life is a Social Experiment does already get the first pick over onto one members of Boom, and Woomy playing very, very aggressive on their own here, trying to keep eyes on them, buy a little bit of time for the rest of the team to come in. But My Life is a Social Experiment, not wasting time here. They're already going to throw in that first power clam.
And so what does Social Experiment do after game 2? They say, all right, we'll do the same. We have Trey, 52 gal, but we'll also play in your face just like Woomy wants to do against us. We'll do the exact same thing, and then we get the first dibs on the basket. So great stuff from Social Experiment. Incredible response. Woomy there just didn't have enough time. And to see Trey is at that same spot again. I want us to keep an eye on it, even if the camera's not on it, but they do go down eventually. Boom is starting to catch on. Trey, I want to see what Trey brings to the table here. This is interesting.
Yes. Yeah, you're right to point that out, because it'll be interesting to see if Trey keeps threatening that area. I mean, they've just got 52's got nice tools, really, really aggressive, can really fast kill time, jumping out to safety. Great job of staying alive here. My Life is a Social Experiment threatening more pushes by keeping this pressure up. Members of Boom are going to start going down, like we've already seen. But we're also going to start losing some people from My Life is a Social Experiment. They are only at 68 points left remaining. So if they give up too much ground here on any pushes, like is happening right now, we'll be able to get a great hammer throw, threatening some more picks here. If the rest of this team can really capitalize on this, they could get a lot of points scored.
And there it looks like it's still very back and forth here, and then there's a wipe, so maybe not as back and forth as we would have liked. But Trey is already at the opposing spinner, has the power clam. The rest of Social Experiment has to get up here and fast. Trey wants to throw that power clam back because they know how much value they have just by having their weapon and themselves alone. Woomy goes down. There's nothing left for Boom to shut this push down. Has been able to do so well in that previous game as they put another power clam in. 64 remaining, but you better believe there's going to be in store for Social Experiment as the power clam goes in. Sneevo going into enemy territory there for that power clam throw. Nobody there to stop it. 35 remaining.
Yes, not able to get any more in there, but Sneevo already back here to defend this ramp area. Is going to get taken out really quickly, though, because everybody from Boom is already firing there. But I do think it was very good, even though so many members of My Life is a Social Experiment went down. They got a lot of points off of it, and they also still had some people up ready to slow the advance from Boom. Boom still sitting here with 2 minutes left to go with no points on the board, but they are threatening this right now. Prosper's trying to get this ball in, able to throw it in. We've got a few clams ready from the other players here on Boom. They do throw in the rest of their clams. They have another power clam ready to go. They throw it in, down to 36. They only need one more clam to get the lead, but they have nobody in position right now to follow up on this. They are going to have to try to get another push going to threaten the lead.
I'm sorry to see another outlier here. So the thing about this game is that it's now looking like a copy of Zone Umami, because what happens when you let Woomy go run amok like that, you get a double on the top of your screen there like we saw earlier, and now Boom has an opportunity to bring this one back in their favor. And that's what Boom wants. They want Woomy to run amok. They want Woomy to just go around, so now we can have 2 for pile up a Booyah Bomb. We have Prosper bring in the cooler so that we can continue this push. We have a minute to go, and there's only 1 point separating these teams, barring any penalty points. But Boom, they know what their key is there. They need to just make it work over and over again. But My Life is Social Experiment starting to catch on.
They are, but Boom doing a great job. They're still playing aggressive. They've got cooler ready to go. Everybody has grabbed a drink. They want to play really aggressive. They're set up in really good spots for it. Woomy's popping that hammer, trying to get some picks. Is going to get taken down, though. We don't have other specials online quite yet, but 2 members are down on My Life is a Social Experiment. They do have the basket open. They need to throw in a few more clams to get this lead. They need to get a couple more with a power clam. That'll do it. They get the lead with 15 seconds to go. The question is, will they be able to then hold out for the rest of defense to make sure that My Life is a Social Experiment does not threaten to win this in overtime?
And now we head into this overtime period. Trey was the solution in getting them into that basket area at the beginning of the match. Will Trey be the solution here? No, they go down almost instantly as they try to pose that threat. Now it's 2 players down on either team here. Neither of these teams have a clear advantage until Soccer tries to go for something here, but Boom able to shut things down very well here, and they take game 3, and with it, match point.
Back and forth, just like Splat Zone's Umami.
I mean, and I can always talk about what Woomy was able to do there, but ultimately at the end there, with Boom's last push, those picks had to come out very, very quickly for Social Experiment, because you give Woomy enough time, you give Prosper enough time. This is a team that loves to use that cooler and uses it very well. What this means is that they were able to get everyone back really quickly here. If you didn't shut those players down, that Booyah Bomb provided the perfect barrier to bring everyone back in and get themselves the lead. So well done from Boom on working things out there. Social Experiment just that close from keeping game 3 in their hands, but they have an opportunity to get to claw one back in game 4. Boom, however, currently holds match point.
Yeah, just one more game to go for them. Pressure's going to be on My Life as a Social Experiment to bring home both of the next 2 games. And Boom just won the last 2, so I imagine they're feeling really, really hyped, ready with the momentum still already completely on their side of this field. I wouldn't be surprised if they hold on to that pencil from Prosper for a Hagglefish market with how much range it has. I do wonder if My Life is a Social Experiment is going to change up their comp, but they might not. They might be really comfortable in what they're playing. Museum was a pretty wide open map that can benefit a lot of longer range players in the same way that Hagglefish does, but the players on My Life is a Social Experiment might just be very comfortable on the weapons that they're playing right now. And it's not always a matter of what puzzle piece are we missing to beat the opponent's weapons, and more of a how do we best play with the tools that we have in the way that we play best, and how do we time these aggressive pushes and also defense. So important on Hagglefish. I always find defense so much harder than offense on this particular stage and mode. So do you have any predictions?
I like that you make that point about the map width, because I think this is one where My Life is a Social Experiment can have an inherent advantage. They have a better path to shutting down Woomy, However, I do want to see more of Trey. Trey did so well in what little I saw of him on that map because of how well they've been able to play mechanically and how well they've been able to use their movements to their advantage. So I want to see more of that here, but they do have a better... I think they will do better in faring against Wumi, who's already gone to the bottom of the screen. I assure you will be coming up to the right side of Social Experiment at some point, and they're already doing it there. Watch for that going on down the right side of the screen. I knew it was going to happen, and they eventually jumped back. But again, it's easier for you to shut that out, and I want to see that happening.
Yeah, this wall from Trey is going to be really nice for threatening these left and right streets here, but they are still going to get taken out. Player numbers on the field is even right now. Not really a whole lot of points being scored on either side here. We're still basically at a completely neutral state. It's still a battle for mid, but Cooler coming out for Boom. Booyah coming out. I did see Trey coming up here trying to challenge Tufa. That's going to end in a trade right here. But still, we've got not a whole lot of points moving, but I think this might be the start of our first real push. We are heading towards that first checkpoint.
I like that. You need more of those shutdowns against a team like Boom because they all come back very quickly. They use the Cooler a lot, and they use it very well. That being said, BWB here is the only one on this tower currently holding on to it. And then the rest of Boom, this is something I see as well. They like to play some sort of misdirection here because they have 3 people on this other side here. Wumi's going to move up, and so is Tova there with this S-Blast, but I like to see more of that. And they're already at checkpoint 2, Rose.
They are. If they get past this and especially really threaten this final checkpoint, at that point, I'm always like, oh, this feels like GG's at this point. They are wiped out now. Fortunately, for My Life as a Social Experiment, able to move fast and quickly, take a ton of space here, which is exactly what Ori is doing. Got Trey coming up on the other side together, taking some fights together. Wumi's going to start drawing some attention to that left side. What I've really liked seeing from Boom on their previous push was that they were drawing tons of fights away from the tower. So then even though we only had 1 player anywhere near the tower, they were relatively safe.
And the nice part about the story is that it's no longer just about Wumi from Boom. I'm seeing a lot more from the rest of the players from Boom in stopping whatever Social Experiment brings in. Prosper's still covering every other player of the team, by the way. BWB and Tufa have been playing a lot more to their weapons because of what Tufa's been able to do in these 2 ramps with the S-Blast, with the Splat Bomb, with the Burst Bomb, trying to back up Wumi here, trying to get some chip damage for him, and then it all culminates to this Booyah Bomb. You're seeing a lot more from the other players of Boom than we may have seen previously, and they're certainly not unsung heroes, but you're seeing what they've been able to contribute, and we're seeing what they've been able to put on the table here.
Yeah, missiles coming out over here. But there's people going down on both sides here. That is not going to bode well for My Life as a Social Experiment. Right now, they are trying to move this tower again. There's just so many things coming out, like that hammer. This is a rough spot to be in for My Life as a Social Experiment. They are bleeding players here. Boom playing this so aggressively in a way of controlling this space by pushing forward. We can tell they want to hold forward here. I'm waiting to see what is Wumi gonna do. Moving in with that hammer, gonna chuck it, not able to get a throw here, but we're still keeping the tower on My Life as a Social Experiment side of the field.
And I like that they know how much of a threat they pose from afar. They're using their bomb pressure very well, so you know you don't have to risk losing numbers here because you have such a great lead. You saw Trey try to do what Trey needs to be doing here. Unfortunately, the rest of Social Experiment is by spawn, so there's not much Trey can do with what they've been given here. Boom has been keeping this right around that 1 and 2 area. All they need to do is tap this tower, and they're great for the next 45 seconds.
Yeah, again, we're just seeing them, I say waste a lot of time, but this is not like, oh, I'm just gonna like play dumb and run at the tower constantly, and then we're gonna constantly lose people and be staggering while we're keeping the tower on their side. They've been doing a good job of tapping that tower, keeping momentum up on that side, but this is looking really good for My Life as a Social Experiment. I say that, but they just went down a few players. But they're gonna, if they can get Prosper away with these strikes, unfortunately going to have to use them a little bit early going into overtime here. But if they can control this area, moving in towards clear their first checkpoint, which they need to get done now, they're going to have to clear the second and challenge the third in order to get this. The missiles
watch your
are
left.
coming out, Sneebo! Gonna have to stay alive, but with the Booyah, that's a GG Booyah. That is end of that game. Boom, taking the match home.
As soon as I saw a torpedo come out from the left side of the screen there,
You know what that
I
means?
knew exactly who it was. I knew exactly who it was. I knew exactly what was going to happen. So, congrats to Boom. You guys are heading towards grand finals. For some of these players, it's not their first, and it certainly won't be their last. But either way, it's another trip to the main event of the night. And I got to say, last thing I'll say about this match is that I know Wilmy because I played with them back when they were on Ink Bashers, which is why you see that IB next to their name. But I'm glad to see that nothing has changed fundamentally. I mean, this is still the same Wilmy I see, and I love watching that, and I love that form. So no surprises here. Boom goes 3-1 against My Life as a Social Experiment. The ladders, they will be ending now, but like we said, grand finals on the way now. It is going to be Milk, the undisputed #1 seed so far in this tournament, only having dropped one game in the Great White Bracket. And then Boom, of course, making their way through. We've seen them before. We're seeing them again.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Boom playing the same aggressive gameplay that they've been known for, that we just saw in that last match. Going into another best of 5 to decide the winner for the finals of Great White Bracket for this week's Swimmer Sync. We're going to be seeing a couple players who I am familiar with and a couple who I am not as familiar with. Can you expand on any of the players from Milk who we haven't seen compared to who we just saw Boom?
So I know the first player from Milk. I don't quite know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. I'm not going to go for it.
Fruta.
There you go. Frutella. So that's a name that you definitely know by now if you've been keeping up with the Ludi DFX field. And of course, you have a Yeti, Suja, Phoenix, another few names. Obviously, Phoenix also from Frutella. All of these, that the +1/+2 territory that you already know very well about. Surely the date here is actually going to be from Starburst. So I mean, if you need to know about the star power that is on Milk, there you go. This is a team that is coming in loaded and packed to the brim with star power. But of course, Boom, we can't discount them just yet. They have players that have won the Swimmer Sync before, so this is far from the lopsided matchup that you might see on paper. This is going to be as tough as it gets for most teams.
Yeah, I really want to see Boom challenge this, go really, really hard on this. I would love to see this really, really aggressive style of gameplay work out in their favor here, which will be interesting to see. We're starting out on Splat Zone's Ship Shape. Any thoughts on what you think might be going down for either of these teams here?
So, I heard someone once say that Ship Shape is the Schellendorf Museum of Splatoon 3, and it has been sticking with me since. I don't deny it. That's the crazy part. I just, like, I hear it, and I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
You're going to see more of the same from Boom. They don't change weapon columns very often. The only thing you're going to see is Prosper change into the heavy edit every once in a while. But what I want to see from Milk is how they responded to Woody's Splatana Wiper, because like I saw in that previous match, that's what enabled them to do so much. Now, what does Milk bring to the table? I know that the team that Boom recently played against, Social Experiment, when they were able to shut down Woomy, things were fantastic for them. I mean, they got Trey able to get down these doubles. Things were perfect. But that's the key, right? And I want to see what Milk does and how Milk finds that key to success.
Yeah, I think if you're right, if Milk can shut down Woomy, keep an eye on him, and work together whenever Woomy's drawing a lot of attention in one area, just make sure that they don't allow Boom to take advantage of that. If they can just have Woomy run in and just sort of die and not have anything come of that, that's what Milk is going to want. They want to make sure, let's keep an eye on that player. Let's make sure that they're not getting value off of constantly drawing us in one area.
Right, and that's the thing there, is that it's obviously not just Woomy. As much as I say it, there's a lot of from that we saw from Boom that Milk's gonna have to worry about, but again, that's gonna be your main story. Well, whatever, we'll see how this story plays out. Starting off Grand Finals with Splat Zones, Shipshape Cargo Co, Milk in the yellow and Boom in the purplish blue. And what we're seeing from Milk is that's a 96 Cal Deco.
Indeed, it is the 96 scale deco. We've got Snipe Rider, we've got a Slosher, we've got the Splash, and a 96 deco. Out of all the 4 weapons on Milk, I think that is definitely the one that we see the least of. And I am ready to see it going. But first, why on that Splash?
Oh my goodness.
Super aggressive.
It wasn't even a splash. That's the thing. That was the crab that got 2 picks from Boom. Like, what am I watching here? This is completely different from what I saw in this previous set. And you're still getting picks. They're still at a numbers advantage. That's the interesting thing. Woomy there being forced to back up. I like that they were at least able to sense the danger here and back things up when they need to. But Milk has 2 specials in tow, 3 now. They've already used that cooler, so it's still 2. But they're still getting picks here. Woomy going to the side. This is going to be Boom's best option against Milk's heavy lockout here. Quapman though coming around the side, coming around the back here with the Slosher, and still able to keep things down for Milk until Boom is able to get 3 people on the zone. This could be enough for them to get the zone, but maybe it's not.
They're really struggling, but at the last second they are able to do so, keeping Milk at 7 points remaining. They still have life in them here for Boom, but that did swap back to Milk's side very, very quickly. Boom is doing everything they can to stay alive. They have got numbers advantage right now. They're going to start going in. Boom really threatening this here. If they can set up Prosper, I think they could do a really good job here. But the question is, like, we need to have other players get in place so that Prosper can play from a good spot and not get picked off here. It looks like there's a little bit farther back, trying to move in now with those missiles here. They are getting points on the board, though. The question is, like, can they hold it long enough?
And that's something we saw. That's like a similar question to what we saw in the previous game, right? Boom, as soon as they get this big push, it was hard for Social Experiment to get back in. Not so much for Milk, though. I mean, you just got a double off for Hope here with the 96 deco. And there's another one from Guapman there. Woomy trying to go around the side, but Milk sees it coming. They have 2 people on it already. 1 player going down for Boom on the off screen there. Now there's 2, so it's a 2v4 now. Milk now doing the best. They've already got Guapman making her way well into enemy territory. Now it's going to be for Hope there, still getting picks. This is what's been working out so well for Milk.
They're also playing very, very aggressively. Like, you know, what we saw Boom do before, playing super aggressive. It's working out better for Milk because they're the ones getting the picks here and controlling this space. They're going to start losing players, but that doesn't matter because they just kept people off the zone and they're able to get that into a knockout.
And that was very smooth there, Rose. If I wasn't watching the stream, I would have never known that Milk just cruised their way into a KO win. And that's the neat thing, too, is that Milk is making this look so effortless. It's like, all right, you're bringing Woomy here. We know exactly how to deal with it, actually. And this is something that kind of goes against what you made here. Just keep holding forward. I mean, you have 2 people that can take care of Woomy. Go off to the side. Go get a pick. You know that your players are capable enough of taking those 1v1s to where you don't need to worry about all collapsing in on the flank. Just keep going forward. Just keep going forward. We'll take care of it. We can continue to hold on because we know they have a numbers disadvantage. We still have 4. They're going to have 3 trying to hold on to their own territory. So keep holding forward.
Yeah, and that's true because, Wumi likes to create these opportunities for the rest of the team to go in on these engagements. But if the rest of the team is stuck being pushed back, even if Wumi gets in, and if nobody else can follow up on it, then sometimes it's just oh, shoot, well, that push didn't really amount to anything.
No kidding. And it's almost surprised with how fast both of these teams able to get back into game 2. I mean, I was about to give you a whole preview, a whole spiel.
Want to play.
They know what they want to play. And in fact, they were holding the same weapons that we saw earlier. So yeah, why not? Let's just run the same thing. This time it's gonna be Scorch, Scourge, Clan Blitz.
Yeah, we are back on Scorch here. Got this opening, and I don't know. They're already getting picks in here. Milk getting rid of Tufa. They already have that cooler ready to go really quickly in. That was not even 20 seconds in.
Yeah, I mean, we've already got we've already got press. We already got a crap. We've already got a cooler. We've already got Wumi with a pick. We've already got Wumi with another pick with this stamp. And now what else do we see? Another pick with the stamp. And there's the stamper. And there's another one. Can we see a third? Yes, we do. There's 3, 4, 5, multiple. Here's a cam in the power basket. And Boom has already made their way back in. Drastic shift from what we saw in game 1.
Absolutely. See, that time we're able to take advantage of Wumi going in and creating opportunities for the rest of the team to follow up on. Really huge first push from them, getting down to 45.
And we still see them jump in. I like how much they jump in with Cooler because they know they essentially have a short lifespan, and so did that crab, but we're not going to talk about that because they went down fairly quickly there. Tufa and Wumi still holding things down here. Now, Social Experiment struggled in trying to get back in, or I don't remember who it was. Now I forgot which set it was. I think it was Jorjay that was struggling and trying to get themselves back in. So I want to see what Milk does here against Boom, a team that has done so well with disruptions, and Milk is already at or near this basket.
They are. They want to make sure that they have the resources to push this forward. So they're not running in recklessly yet. They want to make sure that they have specials up and ready to go. Get some picks. That's going to be a good first opening pick. Wumi is setting up here on their snipe and not really able to move in yet. Those strikes are going to be really nice. Slurp is still holding down territory here, but Milk has not scored yet. They did lose their splash, and they're just not holding forward yet. They've got, never mind, we've got a Kraken coming out. Oh, this is the opening. This is the opening for Milk. They have got this. They just need to get the power claim in. They score it. They're going to start putting in more clams here. Are they able to keep this open long enough to go get the lead? They could, because that crab is out, controlling space, keeping Boom away. They just need one more clam in to get that lead. They're going to try to do it with power clam, but taken out.
Who else? It had to be Wumi. Who else? I mean, Milk, granted, they have the lead. You finally did it. You've broken through. And to be honest, you had full hope all the way down in the rafters, back where I wasn't expecting to see you, but you still have to watch out for Wumi. I'm sorry, Wumi is still a threat, and Wumi will continue to be a threat for as long as you let them be one. And that shut down the push there, so they still have that shutdown value. They still have that factor with them. The only problem is that Milk is just doing far more with their pushes, far more with their control than what Boom's previous opponents have done, and that's causing more trouble for Boom than before.
Yeah, Milk was threatening more of a push this time, but taken out by the specials coming out from Boom. There's 3 members down on Boom, and that Snipe Rider is forced to go all the way back. Time for Boom to get their next push going, but Wumi holding 7 clams taken out here. That is going to slow things down for Boom, which is not going to be good, but they are still in it. If they get a lot of points in, they could take the lead here. They're ready. They just need to get that power clam in. Their support player ready to go in with the strikes. So taking them out there.
I mean, that's fair. You have the power climb, you may as well go for it. And you still have a few more players going for it, so yeah, fair enough. Again, But I want to see what Milk does here. Now they have 3 port players collapsing in on bottom B. This is their opportunity. They know that. They need this opportunity. But you also need to watch out for Rumi. I like that the pencil's making a call out here. You need to make the ping because Rumi is going to be a threat. And I don't know how you don't fall off the stage there, but For Hope keeps themselves alive and is able to get the power clam open for Boom. 2 for you're in a bit of trouble here. Rumi's in a bit of trouble as well. 3 players down. Frostberg goes down delayed. White excellent stuff here from Milk as they have the crab to give themselves owing a power clam. Zooming in 11 points remaining. And things are going to end very quickly here as Milk takes game 2 and is 1 game away from winning grand finals.
How
Wow.
did that Kraken live? How did they not fall?
I don't know. They were halfway off the map, Rose.
Wild tech that I do not know yet.
New levitation technology live from Swimmer Sync. We are the first to be previewing it for y'all.
You know, and even though Milk is up 2-0, we saw some really good plays from Boom there.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is what I said earlier. Wumi will continue to be a threat as long as you allow them to be, but as I say that, they listen, they hear it, and they apply that to the last push of the game where one player, all it takes is one ping to point it out, and now everyone's like, okay, we know Wumi's coming up. How do we make them back up? We already have the pencil, we have another one roaming around, and then the Kraken just happened to be at the right place at the right time for that Wumi backup, and that's just game. That was it there. You get the delayed wipe and it's all over. That's incredible stuff from Milk.
That was incredible. Definitely, you do not want to understand how important that Kraken was at the end there. Able to get them set up, threatening a 3-0 here. They're up 2 games to Boom's 0 games currently. We're going into some Inkblot Art Academy.
A competitive Splatoon classic here, I'm sure, as many of our viewers will know, but again, no major weapon changes. I mean, what more do you expect from both of these teams? Milk, though, they are the ones who are 1 game away from winning Swimmer Sync 209, and they are already getting first dibs at the tower here. Crab is ready. We've seen what Y can do with the splash, and there's another one coming as instantly as that crab gets popped. Wumi going straight down the middle there. Watch for Wumi because this could be very dangerous very quickly for Boom. For Milk, actually, 3 players down already. What is going on?
It is time. They're moving forward. That Kraken is canceled. No Kraken there. Wumi is threatening this ledge, using those torpedoes, using those slashes. Boom trying to move in here. That hammer is going to come out. So is the Kraken able to take out Wumi's hammer right there. I don't think that check was cleared. No, it was. Okay, they're still moving forward. Boom, though, still holding down this from For Hope. For Hope's been doing a really good job of playing aggressively. Just didn't pan out very well that time. And things are looking really good for Boom, but we saw in the previous game, they had a great opening, and then they still got knocked out.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing for Boom here. You have to just keep holding forward, and there's a very clear difference on how I see keep holding forward. One of it is as a terms of aggression, and now I'm using it in the tone of a survival. Because Boom needs these big pushes to keep themselves alive. That's how they kept themselves alive in the previous match, and that's how they're going to keep themselves alive here. So as long as you keep getting this past these 3 checkpoints, we've already got it past 1, you need to keep going. Otherwise, Milk is going to do exactly what they're doing here and start creeping up on you, and somehow Prosper goes down and Squat Man with the pick.
Yes, that is going to be the end of Milk's push, though. Great defense from Boom, holding it down here. Biabadoob holding the tower right now, we've got a long way to go before we get missiles for there, but that is going to be really helpful when they do get them. But you know, we're like approaching halfway through, and there's not a lot of points scored.
No, there's not a lot of points scored for both teams because Milk got shut down. I think that's what's preventing this. We're going any further than it should. Somehow Guapman lives past that splat bomb, and that's going to be the end of Boom's push, unless you see Prosper just magically have 3 of their teammates appear like they usually do, but no, they do not. But this is the thing about Boom. If they can keep holding these people forward, you're going to stay in this set. Milk, however, they know that this momentum can shift very easily. It's the same thing we saw in previous sets, and we're going to see it here again. It's just going to be a matter of how they respond to each of these momentum shifts. And we're seeing a very good response here for Hope. Still dueling it out with Prosper. Going to take 2 for here to clear things up.
Yeah, and even though For Hope died there, and Milk's not going to get the lead here, you saw how many points they got from that while we were watching that 1v1. It was pulling all of that attention away from the tower.
And that is very important to note here, because Milk is very prone to having their attention be drawn away from the tower. That means Woomy comes in, does what Woomy does best. So you don't want that to happen. That's how Social Experiment was able to keep it close in the semifinal set. Milk is going to do the exact same. Boom is going to do the exact same thing and try to keep Woomy a threat. As you can see, past the screen here, Slowbot being forced to back up as a result.
Yeah. I mean, Woomy just constantly challenging here, but now Milk is on such an offensive here. Or trying to stay alive here, doing everything they can with this splash wall. Boom forcing it forward yet again, though.
And look at where For Hope is. This is something you see with Boom as well. This is what you want to see, but you also want, you obviously want For Hope to live a little longer. I'm going to expect Woomy goes around this stack here, goes behind it, and tries to get a pick on Wild. And just might, actually, before they get tripled 3v1 there, and that's going to shut things down very quickly here. But Milk is so prone to having their attention be drawn away. I wonder if they're going to make it past this next checkpoint. We'll see what they're able to come up with here.
They're throwing so many specials at this, but that Booyah, what a jump out just in time to survive that Booyah being thrown at the tower. But that is going to slow things down for Milk here. They are going to have to get back in. The Kraken, we saw that Kraken in that previous game make major things happen for Milk. Tufa just jumping around for so long, still taken out at the end, but that pulled stuff away from the tower, making sure that Boom is still in it. They hop on it. They're now 2-1. They're getting closer to tying it up.
And again, it's that distraction, that misdirection that's keeping Boom in this match. It's now 2-1. Still obviously in favor of Milk. They're 1 game away from easily calling it a night here, but Boom loves misdirection. As soon as he can get Woomy around to another side, you don't even need Woomy to get the pick there, because now you have 3 other players that can easily come around, pincer, get a pick, and Milk still doesn't have something to respond with. Too bad. You lost your opportunity there. That's what I like about Boom, all right? They're bringing the misdirection here. I saw them run trips left, which is an American football thing, and I don't know how you did it in competitive Splatoon, but you did, and it works.
They made it work. Going into our 4th game in this match is Rainmaker, Undertow. Be interesting to see what happens here. Milk could bring it all home here if they're able to get a nice lead on this Rainmaker, but I don't know.
Only one way to find out. And I could give you all the previews I want, but ultimately, things are so close and so so competitive between both of these teams that it can easily shift in one direction or another. In a mode as volatile as Rainmaker, what more could you expect? I'm not sure. We're just gonna have to wait and find out.
Yeah, that is going to pop early in Boom's favor right there. Nobody going to grab that just yet. They're going to start getting specials ready. That hammer from Woomy is already ready. The cooler already coming out on Boom's side as well. The crab coming out, getting a really quick pick. 2 down on Boom's side. Any momentum they had trying to go for them at the start is now solidly in Milk's hands. They get that quick early check. In 30 whole seconds, they still have all members up. That Kraken's coming out, creating space. This could be disastrous for Boom, but they still have a little bit more time. Milk is going to get taken out here. They only got down to 40. That could have been so much worse.
Yeah, but death, taxes, Woomy flanking from behind. What else is new? I mean, it was only a matter of time, but that being said, Milk is the team that comes out with a bigger push here. I think they understand the assignment here. it's all about these momentum shifts again. And Milk wants to be at the forefront of these momentum shifts. So you got to keep getting these big plays. You have to keep swinging the pendulum in your favor. And it has to swing so far that it touches the wall. And they're trying to do it so well here, but Boom responds very quickly here. Both pedestals have been cleared. This is going... Oh, no, it hasn't. It will be soon.
But it will be in just a moment here that it was a wipeout in their own favor. They are now able to get that going. So they're still keeping this push going. Tufa going around the grates here, sharking a little bit, but they are going to lose half of their team. Tufa's now spotted. I think gonna get taken out. That is now a wipeout. Onto Boom, clearing the way for Milk to make sure that they do not lose the lead.
And this is what I'm talking about here. So what do we see now? Woomy already trying to make the jump here, but there's luckily two people around this Rainmaker, so that maybe not as effective as Woomy would have liked. In fact, Woomy goes down, loses the hammer, something that would have been very special, but who else? Being a Boomy comes in with a Frozen Pro, able to get picked there, and able to stop this Rainmaker from going any further. Whatman doing what Whatman does best with that slosher. Still keeping things in play for Milk, and Milk is going to be getting this rank, gets the Saber, gets Woomy, and now there's still a few more to take care of for Milk, and they're going to get some more points here. They're going to make a huge push towards the pedestal. They almost touch it at 7 remaining. They're so close, but they're going to start going down. Oh, will they?
Oh, but the slosher still here. I don't know if they're gonna be able to live. They're able to live, but they are gonna have to give up, threatening, cheekily getting a knockout there. Down to 7's not bad though. Absolutely not bad on this map. A Rainmaker in general, especially Rainmaker Undertow, it could go down in a knockout. If Boom gets a good wipeout in, and they're set up for it, they could run it forward. Right now, they are down a player here. Prosper wants to make sure they don't get taken unawares by either side. They are going to have to try to live this Kraken coming straight for them. We've got multiple specials from a crab to a Kraken. There's no way you're going to survive in that corner.
Absolutely not. Now, the good news for Milk is that they have the Rainmaker, or at least they have their lead in what I call no man's land. Boom needs a lot of momentum shifting in their favor for them to also reach no man's land, because otherwise Milk has this sealed pretty well. I mean, in fact, you have Slurpbot kind of just sitting back here. Now they almost don't have a choice. You see a few of their team go down and you have a minute to go, so you don't want to risk losing more than you can afford to lose at this stage. But Milk knows the assignment here. They understand the assignment. They're going to keep trying to hammer away at these picks, because as soon as Boom gets any momentum, this could easily be their lead.
It could. Yeah, with the hammer coming in, if they keep the picks coming, you know, getting past 7 is going to be quite a hurdle, but it's not unheard of to get it here. Cracking in a hole down this mid area. I think they're just going back and forth, wouldn't you say?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, this is another story of, the score doesn't say much, but Boom originally almost took the lead from a 40 remaining spot, so just so you know. But Milk is just gonna stand around there. They know what's coming. They know they are 20 seconds away from a winning Swimmer Sync 209. What does Woomy have to say about it? Not much, because Biba Doobie is going to beat them to the punch, but only one player remaining from Milk. This could be Boom's last hurrah here, and it will be. They're going to take this Rainmaker and take it in overtime.
I will say, not a lot of this map is painted blue. Prosper's getting janked here by the other team, still alive at this point. Woomy's trying to make sure that nobody can come over from that flank. Tufa and Bibadoobie trying to push forward here. It is just Tufa left. Prosper is left, not entirely alone, but now they are. They're going to get run down. Prosper's forced to start running away. There's a Kraken. Bibadoobie trying to keep things going, but there's just a tail of people coming in as quickly as they can, but not fast enough. Boom, not able to move it forward anywhere near enough. Milk is going to be taking this match, and great white bracket for this week's Swimmer Sync.
And just as quickly as they got the lead, lost it, got it back again, Milk wins the Great White Bracket, like you said, and they have won Swimmer Sync number 209. taking Boom 3-0. Incredible work here from both teams, but my goodness, there's a lot to be said about what both teams have been able to bring to the table. Third place match still underway. Social Experiment currently winning against Jorjay is very large, but Rose, there's not much to take away from that set, but there's just weird because we knew what Boom was capable of doing, but at the same time, Milk brought their own flavor almost of what Boom was doing. It's like, all right, yeah, okay, you see you're playing very aggro. All right, let's just do it more. Which sounds very dumbed down, but at the same time, it's also somehow true.
Yeah, it's like you're doing it more, and you're making sure to control the field. Obviously, the mechanics for these players, we saw so smooth, so quick, very fast decision making, absolutely vital at this level of play. And they were just able to, meet that same aggression and be like, cool, we're going to call you out, make sure you don't out aggro us. They dropped 2 games in all of what we see here, dropping one. We just saw the Boom dropping 1 game to Jorjay is very large, and gotta say they played quite dominantly.
It might be due to the apparent size of Jorjay, but whatever. I mean, not gonna comment any further on that lest I get sued for libel or whatever. But regardless, Milk and Boom are 2 teams that are very alike in terms of their play style. It's not enough to say that a team wants to just hold control of a certain part of the zone. It's all about how. And the way both of these teams did it is very similar to one another. It's just that Milk was getting the upper hand every time they needed. Sometimes they just happen to be at the right place at the right time, but it all boils down to them just being there when they needed to be the most. And that's what got them the win tonight.
Absolutely fun games to watch tonight. So pleasure commentating with you tonight, Nito.
Who's Nito?
Who's Nito?
Oh, me. It's me.
Who's that?
I think so. Me. But while I figure that out, it is going to be time for us to call it a night here, morning, afternoon, to wherever y'all are. But for us in the North American time zones, it is the evening. So, Rose, where can the good people of competitive Splatoon find you?
People can find me over on Blue Sky, Twitch, YouTube, etc. at Rose of Battle. It's really nice when you're able to get just the one username and get it everywhere. Makes it nice and easy. What about you, Nito?
Well, I'll attest to that because you can find me on Blue Sky, Twitch, even Discord at Nito Unused, which again is a testament to how easy things are when you just have me everywhere. And if you want to find me anywhere else, well, I won't be here specifically, but I was told to plug it as much as we can, so let's go ahead and throw it in one more time. If you want more IPL action, join us this weekend, December 6th through 7th. It's going to be Super Jump 7 heading your way, the biggest online major this side of the Mississippi and on the other side as well. Might as well throw that in. Lots of stuff you can expect from this major.
Yeah, don't miss it here. We've got plenty of links in the chat. Make sure you go sign up this weekend. Have fun. Get lots of practice in. I believe in all of you. Any other closing remarks?
I'll see y'all at Super Jump if I happen to show up. If not, there's lots of competitive Splatoon action in LANs, in your locals, in collegiate Splatoon. And lots of stuff to share. Lots of stuff to see there. Shout out to CCA very personally, and shout out to IPL for throwing the biggest online party of competitive Splatoon, as I like to call it. But that is going to be it for us tonight. We will see y'all next week for Swimmer Sync 210. This has been Swimmer Sync 209 here on IPL.
Every play, every player, every pixel. We got it covered. At Broadcasting Esports Every Play, we open the discussion with our podcast, Splat Chat.
Stamp, either Screen or Kraken, and Cooler. Now, Chara's...
Support us with extra hands at broadcastbeep.com/help, or you can watch live at broadcastbeep.com/live. Let's put the community together and uplift the key players.